No, we are not downloading anything. We are just creating an account on New Relic. That's it. Yeah, I'm just making a reference to other tools so that you can see them and use them at some point in time in the future.
Okay.
The examples that I'm suggesting that you look at are these four: Sensu, Nagios, Datadog, and New Relic. These are neutral to any infrastructure. So it's not just HP, not just Microsoft, not just one company, but they'll monitor everything, including Windows, Linux, whatever you have. So we'll experiment with this particular scenario of New Relic as an application monitoring and a server monitoring solution. And to enable us to do that, we will need some things such as, this is what we'll need. So we'll use New Relic as a monitoring solution. And we will ask it to monitor our server, or maybe plural, more than one servers if you have them. And we'll monitor some application characteristics that you might have. So to monitor an application, you need to have an application. To monitor a server, you need to have a server. So what that means is that you will need to have a server ready. And you can do that very easily with DigitalOcean. The other one would be that you need to have an application ready. And you can do a simple application already pre-deployed with WordPress. You can get a DigitalOcean droplet containing WordPress solution. Do you know how to find that? Do you know how to do that? You go to DigitalOcean, and you, instead of setting up a plain vanilla Linux box, you set up a plain vanilla WordPress box instead. So you get a ready-made WordPress deployed, so we can experiment with it faster as opposed to setting up WordPress on our own by hand. We'll just do a shortcut and do the application monitoring also by identifying a ready-made droplet that is available to us in this DigitalOcean account. Everything is so slow today. By the way, these guys have, sorry, yeah, PHP monitoring. For New Relic, we'll do PHP monitoring, and there are multiple languages. So the monitoring, by the way, depends on the language of the application you're using. So for New Relic, or just about any other, they will give you some kind of a software package that goes along with the language you have. And so here is an example in Create a Droplet. You click on the Create Droplet button. Then you select a $10 droplet. And I'm going to say, call this New Relic, or rather performance testing, monitoring. And then we go about selecting a $10 droplet, select in San Francisco, enable private networking, not necessary. And here, instead of selecting a distribution of an operating system, we'll select an application itself. So there are lots of choices available ready to be deployed. And so my proposal is that we go with this solution. WordPress one drop, click, and then we have it. And so once we have that, we select a key and create a droplet. So in summary, what we are doing is starting to monitor a server, for which we need a server. And we also need some application to monitor. So we are selecting a ready-made WordPress droplet, and we'll apply New Relic to it. The idea is to monitor things on the machine and monitor the server characteristics, which is CPU, memory, network bandwidth, disk storage capacity consumption. The 4 characteristics of a machine itself. And then on top, applications performance characteristics. How does the application itself is performing over time? We need to start that monitoring using this tool from New Relic, for which we need a machine. And the machine needs to have some application running. So we use this application. And then we start that droplet. So here, I just started a droplet containing WordPress. And we'll now figure out what the login name and password is. They'll tell us as to what the login name password is for that droplet, because we have no idea, right? They will give us a ready-made WordPress deployment with a login name password ready, or maybe just allow us to just create a login name for ourselves, which is also fine. Let's see what they prompt us. They'll prompt us to do something like create a login, give your email, set up a password, and then that becomes your droplet for WordPress. I'm saying login password for WordPress. Right now, we have a key in place. So the key is going to be used for SSH access. So we don't need a login password, but we do need a login password for the WordPress application, which is going to be automatically deployed as we start this droplet. So once you have a New Relic account with you and you sign up for a free t-shirt or something, or even without the free t-shirt, I'll just log in because I seem to have signed up a while ago. They don't show you the t-shirt thing up front. You have to go and look for it. There should be many places where I will find the New Relic t-shirt references. New Relic t-shirt offer. There we go. Free data nerd. Okay, there is a URL for that. Become a data nerd. That's where you should sign up. Yeah, so here is the link for data nerd t-shirt. newrelic.com/lp/data nerd. The sign up link. Get this cool shirt.
Anna won't let me wear that. I'll have to wear it secretly.
Why?
Anna is always dressed nicely.
And you cannot go along like this?
Well, I can't meet with her.
That's right. That's the hard part, right?
Yeah.
That's I think.
She'll let me work out in the yard with that.
I know, I understand.
Destroy
And so,
that.
So this is what I dress for, and so in fact, my wife was saying, "Are you going like this?" And I said, "Yeah."
I used to be nothing but a t-shirt guy. Man.
So I told her, actually, people in here are just like me, so you don't have to worry about formalities. Just show up, talk to them. They're happy. They don't expect you to be dressed. Yeah.
So where's the t-shirt? Where do you get that now?
The link is here.
newrelic.com, data nerd.
Were they giving away an RC Copter too?
Yeah, I have had the RC Copter. In fact, when I signed up, I got the RC Copter.
Okay, you got to install the sequence one you need to.
Yeah, you have to install the agent in order for them to send you a t-shirt. Otherwise, they will not send you. So the agent has to be installed. They check for the agent's presence on your license, which we'll do, by the way, anyway. So what we'll do is in our droplet that we now have, so I have this droplet, and so I'm going to go to that IP address and log in. And even before I log in, I just go straight to that web browser and see what they show up. Oh, there it is. It requires a username and password. So what is my username and password? I have no idea. So let's see. A DigitalOcean WordPress login password. What is it? One click install, and the password is
No credit cards, no commitments.
oh, you need to finish the install process, navigate to the My Blog location, and follow the on-screen instructions, which I did. Now what?
Oh, is it in here? Message of the day when you log in?
Maybe it's MOTD. Let's go check MOTD then. So what I'm going to do is now open terminal and see what the MOTD is on that machine. So SSH root at IP address. It's asking me for a password. That's crazy. How can that be? Great. SSH add, and then now try again. Okay, here is the password. So you get an MOTD, message of the day. So I have my password there, and the admin is a login name. So here it is. I'm going to type that thing, admin, and the password, and it let me in. Good. So I'm going to ignore the password, and then I set up my application. Site title as the whatever title, my what, call it my blog. Username is Nilesh, and password is this and this again, and then my email address is. And I'm not going to allow my search engines to index my site because I want to hide. And then as a new WordPress, you want to hide. And once you set it up correctly and completely, then you expose. So you want to install WordPress, and then you log in. And this time, we log in using the password that we now have. And there we go. So we have an application running. Now, what we need to do is a couple of things. We need to sign up with New Relic. Second thing is to install the server agent on our server. And the third thing is to let New Relic monitor our application. This is the this is the key top level view of what we need to be doing. Now let's do it. The reason we are doing it is to make sure that New Relic deploys an agent on our box, and we are able to monitor it. It'll give us beautiful reports, and you have seen some view into the reporting that it provides to us in form of what I see in my servers. Right now I have 3 servers running, I think. I hope. Yes, 3 boxes. And these are the 3 boxes. They are the Cloud Genius server, the EDX app number 1 server, and another server. 2 servers, and there are the CPU metric is like 4.5%, 5%, and 0.7%. You see the metrics going up. Did we do this exercise here?
No.
No. Okay, good. I was confused. So good. We have some memory numbers showing. You can see that memory is kind of very high on this box, 90% almost, reaching almost the border. And the other box is 85%. Disk is not a problem. Disk is usually never a problem. Disk I/O is also not a problem. CPU is okay. Memory is the problem, right? And therefore, there's a non-critical problem in place. More than 70%, you got a problem. A non-critical one. If it goes beyond 95, it becomes a critical problem. So these alerts reach my email or reach my Slack. You heard me saying Slack, the notification methods. You also have another method called PagerDuty. You heard of it? You use it? Probably not. But PagerDuty, as it says, is what will, servers will page your people, and they'll do things for you as things happen. So you can use this service, and you can plug in PagerDuty with New Relic.
PagerDuty, huh?
Yeah. So this is another good service-based alerting method. You subscribe to them, and they'll hook up with just about any type of monitoring, including New Relic and Sensu and Nagios and whatever you have. So you name your monitoring systems, you plug it to your notification systems like PagerDuty. Your people will be notified. If they respond, great. If that person did not respond, PagerDuty will find the other person available and have them dispatch and solve it and fix it. So they'll nicely automated.
Say if we had a private cloud, Amazon server, and what we have internally is the HP monitoring, DSM.
And
Would we do something? We could do something alternative, perhaps cheaper. Do some of these people
true.
work with private clouds and
Everybody.
very secure?
Yeah, everybody will do. All you really need.
Well,
No, so here is Let me show you what it takes to send a push or an alert. So here is what it says. It's called a webhook. So the concept is called a webhook notification. That's what is needed for one application or one cloud service to notify the other cloud service. And these guys use what is known as a webhook, and you can connect it with any type of service, just about as long as they support both sides, support each other, you can hook it up. And I'll give you an example of how I have put in a webhook between New Relic and Slack. And Slack is my personal notification method or interaction method or personal chat method, work chat. You heard me say Slack? You recall? Slack and HipChat and people like that. So these are chat tools, meaning let me show you the Slack tool itself. So here is Slack, and on the integration front, in fact, I just set up.
So question.
Yeah.
So is the webhook a published web service? Is that typically what it is?
Yes, yes, yes. So let us, on this screen you see is that I have several channels, and one such channel I call the integration channel, and that is the channel which gets notified whenever there is a New Relic issue. So you see this message is coming from application. Something happened. It went above 90%, and they're critical level, security level critical. So these are 4 alerts I have in my Slack, which is the place where we keep connected all the time when we are working. So I get notified that something happened, 4 critical errors, red line, on those days, April 20th, 4 times there was a red alert. And this happened because DigitalOcean decided to reboot the underlying hardware on which the virtual machine is running. And so there was 4 cases of downtime where it was rebooting for some reason, for updates probably. And so that happened, they had emailed me that, hey, we just did it to you. We're sorry. And so as a consequence, New Relic said, your application not responding, critical alert. And they then accumulate these alerts in their website here. So you see them, and along on the right side, on that segment, you see the alerts accumulating, but you don't expect me to go and log on to New Relic all the time. What I expect is that you come to me and tell me, you ring my pager, you ring my Slack, you ring call my India person, do something about it, right? That method is notification method that I will use service. So I'll connect a webhook that I have, and so I'm going to show you how I exactly did it. And so what I did was put a webhook between Slack and New Relic. Let's see how you do it. All it takes, New Relic Slack. And this is how you go to slack.com, log on to your account, and ask you to sign in. Now, signing in is a complex process always. It cannot be simplified. Okay, continue, one more. Sign in, and one more step. There has to be so many steps to sign in, without which I cannot live, apparently. So who are you? Slack 127824, enter. And so I'm now signing in. Click, and I did. Now here I will again go look for, oh, we like you.
We like you.
So you're able to get those notifications in the free version of Slack too? Or?
I'm not a subscriber. I'm not a paid subscriber. And so you can get integration. Where is that integration thing? Not here. New Relic Slack integration. Click.
Use Slack, use HipChat.
Yeah, HipChat. So yeah, my team is reaching integration limit. So I have some configured integrations. So I'm going to disconnect my configured integration right now. I'm going to delete that and say remove. There we go. So the Trello I disconnected by mistake. Oops. Now let me disconnect the New Relic integration. And so here I'm going to remove the New Relic integration altogether. Now having removed that, What I'm going to now do is add an integration. So we go to all services and then filter by name, New Relic. And so here is a New Relic hook that I can add. So here is how the hook looks like. You click add button. It says, okay, which channel do you want to receive these notifications in? And so I have several channels. For example, I choose a channel. So I have these channels called general, integration, marketing, random, support, and then specific people.
So which site are you on?
I am on Slack.
Slack.
Slack is the service that I use to communicate with
Okay.
people. And
Okay.
so this is our work chat. So what I'm doing is choosing a channel. And among the channels, I have several channels listed by name, like general, chit chat, integration, marketing related talk happens on that channel. Random chat happens on that channel. Support related chat happens on that channel. And then specific people, the Anil and Chelsea and Mel and Rupa and Stacy, and then this bot, a bot which is from Slack. This is the Slack bot, which will interact with us. It's a bot. It's not a rule. And so you can have a GitHub bot called Hubot, H-U-B-O-T, Hubot, integrate with you. You can have, let's say, integrate New Relic into the integration channel. And so I'm going to add New Relic integration here. And it's trivially simple. You'll actually be amazed to see. They give you a webhook URL. So they just copy from here, click, and go to New Relic and paste this link. And then you're done. So I'm showing you the link. So here is how you will configure. Go to New Relic and paste this link. And then New Relic knows to send a HTTP post message onto this point. That's the webhook. So whenever an event happens in New Relic, something went wrong, I need to tell you, I'll create a HTTP post onto this pointer, onto this endpoint. So what needs to happen, if you look about it very carefully, let's break it. HTTPS, so it's secure, hooks.slack.com, that's the endpoint. And then services, and then some URL, some other parameters like long strings. What it is going to do, New Relic, is that as soon as some critical thing happens, like your server memory exceeds 70%, non-critical error, okay, non-critical warning issued, boom. Now what I need to do is form a message, take that message, and do an HTTP post request onto this URL, which means you're sending a block of message, a block of text, which says non-critical warning, server XYZ exceeded 70% memory usage, post. And when the post happens, this endpoint, hooks.slack.com, is listening for events all the time. It's like a web service. It listens. And when there is New Relic posting on it, it knows that it is New Relic posting because of the string. And these strings are unique to me, and only New Relic knows, and only Slack knows that New Relic knows that it knows. So when it posts, it trusts it. And then it takes it as a notification. And when Slack has it, it notifies the integration channel. So I will know, oh, something went wrong. Let's go look. That's how post hook, these web hooks happen. It's the best way to actually operate like this with hooks. You can create hooks between GitHub and Jenkins. Jenkins, you know what it is? Is a continuous integration Java-based application, open source again. And when you are creating something, some project, you will do git commit, git push. And then you do nothing. You just sit around. Because what Jenkins will get is a post commit hook. Pretty much like this.
What's Jenkins?
So Jenkins is another open source product that looks like this. And what it does, it's like your butler for use of, and in fact, that's the word, butler. And so you look at the picture, a classic butler, right? That is your butler. It does stuff. You know, what does it do? Whatever you want it to do. So you tell what you want me to do. So when a post commit hook comes in, meaning when my developer says, you know what, I've done coding, it looks like it's good. So let's do a git add, git commit, git push to GitHub. GitHub will do a post commit hook to Jenkins. Jenkins can be a box running on somewhere, your garage, DigitalOcean, in your company. It doesn't matter where you run it. On your laptop, as long as it is connected to the internet and is able to receive an HTTP post message, it will receive a post commit hook message. And when it does, it will know what to do with it because you told it already. So Jenkins is a Java process that you run on a Java virtual machine, basically. It's a jar file. You download the jar file and you run it, and then it becomes a web service. That's all it takes to install it. You install Java and you download this jenkins.jar and you double click on it. You're done. Then this web interface comes up in which you will configure webhooks, configure login name, password, security, certificates, all these things, and set webhooks between Jenkins setup that you have on a DigitalOcean Droplet or your internal machine in your company, and have it connect to some Git repository. It could be your own GitLab internal, could be your GitHub outside, public location, and that Git repository will then commit. And when you do commit, it will get notified. Jenkins will get notified. And then Jenkins will do something like, oh, looks like you tested. Oh, you look like you developed something. Let me test it for you. And it will do an automatic test process, run for you. And when the test fails, you know what Jenkins will do? File bugs back to you. It automatically files, this thing failed. Let me file bugs for your developer. And bugs will be filed in GitHub as issues, or Jira, if you like. You know Jira? Jira. Another tool, not open source, but very nice tool. And that tool is this. It's called issue tracking, Jira, from a company, Australian company called Atlassian. This is a very commonly used tool, Jira. And I run it in my garage. And
I got a quick question.
Yes.
Back on Jenkins, I'm trying to make a comparison about all these different products that you've exposed us to. Jenkins is compared to Chef?
No.
No?
No.
Jenkins is compared to?
A butler. A butler. Butler? Dude?
That's not what I asked.
It's actually a butler.
Is it a configuration management tool?
No,
Is it
it's a doer. It's a dude that does stuff.
It just does whatever you tell
It's a dude.
It's a dude.
I mean, think of it as a dude that will do stuff. You want it?
Is it workflow?
Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes, workflow. Think of it as workflow. You define a workflow, you give it to that dude,
Okay.
and the dude will do it for you.
Yep, perfect.
Right? It's a butler, the classic butler scenario,
That's
right?
open source.
Yeah, it's open source.
Yeah.
And there is another open source project called Travis. Travis is also same thing. Test and deploy your code with confidence. That's the tagline. And what Travis will do is basically you put and push your Git commits to GitHub. Travis will look for it, listen for a hook, and then test for you. And if you find issues, file issues for you, then you fix it. Then you do a Git commit push again, and it will test again. It's like your test guy, right? These Travis guys and this Jenkins, these are your test people. They're your deploy people. I mean, I'm calling them people, but they're machines working for you.
How does that contrast with Slack?
Slack is a notification method. It's a chat tool, right? So Slack, let me let me show you chat. So here I'm typing something with, let's say, this guy, Anil. So I'm going to say,
So you would use Jenkins to create.
so I'm sending a message to somebody, right? Hi, I am away right now. Let us talk tomorrow. Enter. I just sent a message to this guy, right? He's a colleague that works with me. I just sent him a message. So it's a chat channel. He may be sleeping in India. So I just told him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother him. When he wakes up, no, when he wakes up, he'll see. Right? It's offline messaging. It works all the time. And so the scenario that I have between Jenkins and Travis are kind of similar. They are butlers. They do stuff. They test for you. They deploy. They stage. They commit. They push to production also, if you want. If you give them authority to go push for production, they'll deploy the whole thing to production. How you deploy? You basically write a Chef script, a sequence of flow in Chef, and you say, Jenkins, do this. When this happens, do this. When that happens, do this. You define these functions and tell Jenkins, hey, do this.
How do you make
And so you basically, it's a place for you to write, when this hook comes in, you follow along and do this. The beautiful guidance in documentation.
Okay.
But in simple words, when this thing happens, it's an event sequence. This happens, do this. This happens, do that. When this thing, new code comes in, you run the test, and you run test like this. So you have a test sequence written down. If the error pops up, you take the error and go back to GitHub and file an issue against the project. So you go and request an issue.
Question, so you use Jenkins, for example, if they both have hooks exposed, you could use Jenkins for general purpose workflow, and one of the things that you would hook to would be Slack.
For notification. Oh, yes,
There you go.
yes,
All right.
yes. Yes, the scenario essentially is for these tools to do grunt work that you don't want people to be necessarily doing. You want people to sleep in the night, let them sleep. You want your developer in the middle of the night, in the middle of India night, tested something and he's all excited. And so he's pushing, and you want your person in the US want to look at what he did. Very common scenario. You don't want that US person who's sleeping during the night to get waken up. You want that testing to be automated and complete, and with the failures posted back for the developer. So the developer can see, oh, I made that mistake. I need to go and make the comments, make changes again, and then push again. And when the developer pushes new code, Jenkins will first thing before waking you up in the middle of the night, test it for you and find errors, and then send it back to the developer in India. Go fix it, please. And that cycle goes on until there are no failures. So when there are no failures, then it will notify you, oh, that thing that the developer from India gave you actually is passing. So time to wake up. And so you wake up and then you look at, oh, passing, let me do some smoke testing. Or maybe I want to review what he actually did. Fine. If you're feeling comfortable and happy, you want to go to the next stage, which is put this in staging and let my boss review it. Because I'm feeling comfortable with what the developers did, and my Jenkins guy tested it for me, and they told me there are no failures in the test cases. Awesome. Let me do my own testing, one more layer, and then I ask Jenkins, okay, good, stage it. It'll put in the staging environment, and I go show it to my boss. Hey, boss, what do you think? Boss will take a sniff test and say, yeah, what do you think? Go ahead, deploy. And then you tell Jenkins to go deploy in production. And so these minimal human intervention that you need to have is necessary to have. You keep that. But rest, you automate. As long as you automate most of the grunt part, right? Grunt is anything that is repeatable that doesn't require human brain. That's what my definition of grunt is. And by the way, there is a beautiful grunt project in open source. And it is also another butler. All it does is task runner. It runs tasks for you. And this is the project. This will do stuff for you. Another one, grunt, I just remembered it. And there are many such things. The core idea behind it is that you have developers working, that you want to make human intelligence is needed. HIT, H-I-T, human intelligence task is needed to make things happen, to write code. Machine can write code, but you don't want that necessarily. You want people to write code, to understand it and design it. And when they do, then humans are obviously going to make mistakes. That's a natural thing, a natural outcome. So you want to test those and do it through automation, through tools like Travis or Jenkins or some other method that automates it for you. The interaction between a Git repository like GitHub and Travis or Jenkins or other services that you can deploy needs to be operating through some kind of a hook that looks like this. This, to be specific, the last line. You saw the hook happening, right? Let's place the hook in service. So I'm going to take that hook and place it in service with New Relic. So I'm going to save that integration. First of all, I'm going to go copy the hook and say, copy the URL and then show setup instructions. Go to New Relic. log in. Come on, show me the place to integrate. New Relic, Slack integration. Where do you put that thing? Slack integration. I added New Relic. Where do I put it though? Add integration. Expand. Okay, that's where you go. So you go to alerts. So you have to go to New Relic and then alerts, and in there you will find several places to get notified. One of them will be PagerDuty. And the thing is slow. Click. Okay, so here are several methods that New Relic provides currently. Notification channels, incidents, events. Where is the thing? It disappeared. It should be in channels and destination. Oh. So alerts. Come on. I clicked yes. So here, channels, alerts across, and there is a webhook that I added the last time that was post to Slack, and that webhook I'm going to delete because it's an old hook and add a new hook. And here is what it takes to add a new hook. You want to create a new webhook and paste, call it post to Slack, and paste the URL, and that's it. That's all I did. You can also integrate this with your email or HipChat or Campfire or PagerDuty, variety of services. And you send a test message. So when you do, you should receive a test message in your Slack, and there it comes. Integration is highlighted. You click, and there is a message that came at 4:58 p.m., which is right now. It just came. This last item at the very bottom. All the way from here, this whole segment. It sent you to the critical errors that already had, and then the test message that got added. It sent a sample test through a new hook I just put together. And this is how you would receive a notification, through a webhook.
I don't know if this is part of your plan.
It's okay. It doesn't have to be part of the plan. Go ahead.
The definition, I was noticing that you've got criticality severities on the notification. So Slack must have a profile of the kinds of things that you want to set up, the importance.
Yeah, actually the profile is with New Relic. New Relic is sending you a blob.
Right.
Type this. That's it. The profile and what is critical, what is not critical is what you decide in New Relic, not in Slack. Slack is just getting a blurb. Right, okay, here. I don't even know what critical means or non-critical means. It just gets something. Right, okay, here, read this for you. Message for you. Read it yourself. Right, that's the scenario. And based on these ideas that you have seen here, which is this integration between web services with post commit hooks and Git web hooks and other types of hooks that you basically establish like this, like the last line here. This scenario has been expanded into the consumer world. You know what consumer world would be like? People, like ordinary people that do not work for large companies in IT departments. Those types of people, like human beings, they have a service called Zapier. And this you should know. Because it says Zapier, your time is valuable, invest in yourself. And see what it does. Integrate and connect your apps and easily move data between them. And all of these are webhooks primarily. That's the concept. So what it is doing is automate, and this is for people, not for IT nerds. Okay,
So how is this different than Jenkins?
this is not for IT nerds. So this is like this is for people. I'm saying literally. And so here,
Functionality, same thing.
yeah. So
workflow?
when you receive an email from a customer, you put an item in the Salesforce.com CRM database,
Okay.
or make an entry in the Evernote process, right?
And what's this called? Zapier?
Zapier, right?
Zapier.
1P. So this is the idea. So here, hold on, let me paste it here, Zapier.
So again, workflow.
This is totally workflow for people though, not for nerds. Okay, so you get a,
You can hook up GitHub to Gmail, to HipChat, to project management in Jira.
Right.
Time off. So you can do some pretty sophisticated things.
yep. And so you have these 300 supported apps that you can connect. All these consumer apps like Google Sheets. When I get an email from somebody that is matching this profile and this search characteristic, you put an entry in my spreadsheet, right? Put an entry with their email address in my spreadsheet automatically. So over time, your spreadsheet becomes building up, and every month you review it.
What do these guys charge?
Nothing. I mean, they do, but not too much. It's consumer.
It's cheap.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
That's what I'm finding.
$10.
And so here, somebody posts a message on my Facebook pages, you accumulate that in a spreadsheet so I can review it at the end of the month, or get a Slack notification.
So you've got internet enabled cameras, right?
I take a picture, post it on Flickr. Easy, right? I have Wufoo forms. Wufoo is like a contact form you can put on, and so when somebody says contact me, email me.
Wufoo. Okay.
And so here, more Eventbrite. I set up an event. Somebody signs up for my event. Do this. Set up a Google task for me. Or Twilio. Twilio is a consumer-based text messaging service. So if something happens, like somebody showed up on Eventbrite, send me a text message. Or if some customer buys my product online, SMS me. Twilio. Or another scenario, I have to have a customer that I want to bill and charge them. I want to send them an invoice. When I do the work and maybe do a final work for them, send them an automated FreshBooks invoice. Right? So you can automate your invoicing to your customers by connecting them through FreshBook, and save that invoice in your box.com login. And you can create a workflow based on intelligent things like, if you have Jira, you can connect it to Jira also. You can have Stripe connected. Stripe is a payment collection method. So somebody says, check out, pay, use credit card, take their credit card through Stripe, and email you. Or put an entry in the CRM, Sugar CRM, Capsule CRM, or maybe text you. So it goes on and on. You can think creatively and just orchestrate whatever you want to create with these kind of services. The thing is Zapier. Quick, fast, and very easy to set up. You want to really intelligently do it. There's another one service like this, again for people, not for nerds. The name is very simple. If this, then that.
Oh, yeah, I have used it.
IFTTT. There is an if app. Put the internet to work for you. So introducing something. And the examples are,
What does this do?
it is if this, then that. Right?
Yeah, I use
And
it.
so, here.
I try to use it for I have the Hue lights.
Yeah, the Philips lights, right?
Yeah.
Wi-Fi lamps. So go ahead, describe your scenario.
Well, what I tried to do, and it actually could have worked, but what I tried to do is during the football season, that you could set it up that if the Seahawks got a touchdown, I had the lights set up for Seahawks colors and they could flash.
That's a win. Beautiful win, right? Right there. Hue lamps, beautiful scenario, right? So you can detect with Seattle Seahawks playing, get the score from the website, see if it matches a touchdown, automatic, like completely automatic, right? I take a picture, email it to my mom, simple. Or don't email it to my mom, also simple. But that's a scenario. These are services coming up, and you can hook up to the things which are also interesting, like Seahawks score a touchdown, lights, beautiful. Another scenario would be you have temperature goes below certain temperature outside in the weather app, weather.com app. Then you use the Nest thermometer to bump up automatically, right? This thing, you just tweak it and adjust it.
Yeah.
And if so,
I don't have that yet. I don't trust it.
it works. I've been using it for 3 years.
Really?
Well, beautifully works beautifully, no problem at all. So,
Google ads on it
yeah, no, not yet.
yet. Google about it.
Yeah. It can become an ad, like, hey, looks like you're feeling very cold. Let me tell you where to buy a new blanket.
So here's the story. The Nest, divorce, in the house, embittered husband driving by, Wi-Fi, 80 degrees, 90 degrees,
She doesn't need to drop by.
down to 20.
Right. So these are consumer-facing services, but I want you to know, because these things are coming up as the evolution happens in technology industry.
So how would you characterize? I mean, I know the consumer-facing ones are set up for pretty much for an easy interface for them. Is there anything else you would characterize them? I mean, because they do similar things.
Yes,
so-
pretty much similar thing. They are dumbed down versions from a nerd perspective, but they are tremendously thought through scenarios from a security perspective, and simple to use, like really simple. So even a person who doesn't touch technology can also use it. Is another characteristic. And I would agree with this Nest. It is so trivially easy to set up Nest. You would not believe. You are actually setting up a Wi-Fi access point on the Nest, connecting it to your phone, pairing it up, passing your regular Wi-Fi password to it through the connection, and then relinquishing the connection and asking it to connect directly to the Wi-Fi. You do all these steps without understanding what you're doing. Is the beauty of it, that you actually do it.
Hue was the same way until it would do things like mine lost a light. And so you can't just delete a light and bring it back.
Oh.
You have to forget it. You have to like lock it out and say, I renamed it something else and then rediscover another light. Otherwise, all your recipes for lights
How do you
are
know?
all blown away. So
I had to disconnect the Wi-Fi access, turn it off at the Nest, and the account is relatively secure to the person that owns it, and I couldn't get it deleted. I was almost to the point where I called up the support service to actually delete the account, and I stopped short of that. So it can
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah, it can be
bad.
good, can be challenging. But the thing that I'm saying is that these things called what do you call this? It's called the
Internet-enabled
Internet of Things
things, yeah.
is coming. It's here, right? Like you were talking about.
thermostat with a bit of mercury in it. Worked really well too.
Yeah.
Right. So you're yes, indeed. You're talking about your toy, right, on your laptop. The thing that you had on your wallpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a Internet of Things thing?
Yeah. Well, the Nest.
Nest is an Internet of Things, and this is an Internet of Things thing.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that
Right.
is.
Yeah.
That is the thing. You can connect to it from here. And so these types of things are coming and are here. And these services that I'm describing, IFTTT, Zapier, are here for us. The Zapier is more like small business-y, if you will. And IFTTT is consumer. And the New Relic thing is nerdy. So now, let us get to the point where you can actually install our own application and connect it to New Relic. How do you do that? It must have given you instruction by now in your email. So here how you hook up. So you should have an instruction that says, this is what you would do to your Droplet. how to install New Relic. Do you have that instruction already? New Relic. And so you should have an easy install. By the way, if you Google, there are here. Obtain the package, install the agent. So simple steps written down 1 through 5. And so this is what we'll do. And so what you do is first step, install the agent. How do you do that? For Ubuntu, you click here and you configure the repository, obtain the installer, and then run it. The link is searchable through Google. What I searched for is how to install New Relic, and the first link showed up with documentation. That's what I would recommend. And so here you have installed the agent for PHP. So do it for PHP, and server monitors for Linux. And so you click Linux monitoring and installation for Ubuntu.
New Relic APM browser.
So right now you just go with the server first. Server installation Ubuntu Debian, that one, what you see on the big screen, and use the apt installer, apt installer, which means you have to configure the New Relic repository with this step, add the GPG key, step number 2, and then apt-get update, and then install. That's it. And you add your license. So simple steps. Actually 5 steps.
Can you go back
Yes.
on wget?
wget. There we go. So first thing, configure the New Relic apt repository. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go do the step number 1. So I am on the server installation Ubuntu page, and I'm going to go to my terminal here. And in this page, I will clear and then start adding the apt repository.
You're on cloud?
Yeah, I am on the DigitalOcean Droplet.
Digital, okay, got it.
And so I have a WordPress droplet running, and on that droplet, I will install the New Relic apt repository, which is this step.
Yep.
So I'm going to copy that
Okay.
and go to my notepad. And this is not the right notepad. I should say go here. And so this is the sequence of line. This is the sequence I want to add. So some sudo run this script, and basically you're adding this blue line
Yeah.
into this file. That's what we are really doing. We're adding this line to this file. That's pretty much it. So we are adding this line to the file called newrelic.list. That's the step we will be doing. And by running this command here, paste, which I added. So I'm going to open it up and see it added successfully or not. Cat etc apt sources.list and then New Relic. List.d sources.list.d and New Relic. There. So we have the line added. It got an item like we see here in this file. What's this thing coming up? Exit, quit. So we have this line added to that file. Now, having done that, that completes our step number 1. Then we have to trust the GPG key, the Pretty Good Privacy PGP GPG key. So we add that line, download the key.
What does the wget command do? Alex?
Downloads. Download.
Like apt-get, right?
Yeah, wget is basically HTTP download.
Okay.
So here, let's split the command. Let us split here on the command here. It says wget something, right? Wget URL. What does it do? It downloads it. All it does. Yeah.
It downloads that file.
That GPG file.
Okay.
And GPG file is something that we will have a signature to trust where it's coming from.
Okay.
And so the full command looks like this. So we are adding it to the apt key at the end of the pipe. So we have a pipe here, and then we add apt key add.
So you do the download, then you pipe it into
Apt key and add it. So here's how it looks like.
Okay.
One shot, download and add it to the key.
Boom.
So in one shot, you're downloading this step, which is what you did in 0 seconds.
Okay.
And then you added it to the apt key.
Okay.
And so now we trust New Relic as an officially trusted apt repository. This step is needed. Otherwise, Ubuntu doesn't know New Relic. It will not trust and not install anything unless you add the key from New Relic
Okay.
into your Ubuntu box. So that we just did that part. Next step.
How did you get to the screen right here?
Ask that question again.
How
This
did you get to the screen?
one.
No, the one that you were just showing, the Relic instruction type.
Aha, I will email it to you. So the instruction is emailing to you. In fact, you know what? I get an idea. From next time onwards, we should have a Slack account set up for the class. So we can just quickly paste,
Oh, it's not bad.
right? I just got that idea. You know, why just do only for people that work with us, but why not do it for the class?
Yeah.
So for the class, we just set up a new, Slack account and quickly paste. So everybody gets the link, right? Quick sharing of snippets in the class. I think it's a good idea. I just had that. So
Brainstorm.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's easier to.
Yeah, easier to just, instead of just emailing, which is kind of boring like this and a silver lining and all that good stuff. I'm going to email you and here it goes, but boom. And then you have to go check email. Slack is just a push. You get it like right away. So that's the idea I will put in place next time. For now, let you deal with email. I think some of you will be joining starting May 24th. So please do. And if I forget, make me do the Slack thing. It's a whole lot more important if you're away from me. At least here you can just say, hey, give me the link.
What day was it?
24.
This one.
Yeah, that's just coming up 3 days down the road, 3 to 4 days down the road. It's coming up, it starts. And so if you haven't had the chance to review when it starts, you should email and go to Cloud Genius on the front page. Next class is exclusively on Google Hangout. And here are the dates. I should just email you that also if you've forgotten. The class starts pretty soon and you're welcome to join. Here are the dates. Silver lining. And since you missed, you should absolutely join. If you missed many classes over the course, so you should join this one. Totally welcome. Please. Sorry.
Yeah, that's one
Entirely on Google Hangout, not here in the building. It's strictly from your home or wherever you are. You can be wherever you are and.
Worked quite well. There was a couple of questions I had on about doing that. I figured out finally having myself heard because I wasn't at first. Yeah. So that was one good.
Yeah, you can totally interact and like see me, see everybody else, share your screen, see other people's
Should
screen.
come up with some way of, because it's hard to know if you can't see. It's hard to know whether you can interrupt or how to interrupt. So you should have there should be like something to raise it.
Oh, raise your hand.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing in Hangout is that it's very small. The class size is typically as small as this. So we just know each other and we yell, hey, can you tell me this? And so the channel is open. We don't do a large scale webinar, 100 people, 1,000 people. We don't do that. And so it is small, focused. And so all the microphones are open.
Okay.
Which means you can just, hey, what was that? Tell me again. And that is totally welcome. Just like here. Same thing.
The other thing too is that's a one way, right? I mean, you're not seeing.
Do it. It's many to many.
Well, I mean, screens, one screen.
Screen, you have multiple screens. So if there are 5 participants and me, we have 6 screens plus 1 extra screen from my other desktop, which I use to present. So 5 plus 2. We'll have 7 little pictures at the bottom.
Okay.
Like you and I did the other day, it was just you and me. So we had 2 little pictures of you and me at the bottom. If you larger meetings, you'll have 7 pictures. And these people will be able to present individual screens, and the viewers can select which little thumbnail you want to look and make it big. And I usually have 2. I have a video camera looking at me and my screen is a separate feed. So I do 2. Just to make it easy for people to just look at me versus looking at my screen, I give them a choice.
Everything else worked fairly well.
And
Except,
most people prefer to look at my screen instead because obvious.
If sound quality was decent, so everything was good.
Nice. Yeah, that's good to know. And yeah, we'll have probably better sound in my home than here, but
Yeah.
Should be-
everything
should be
else was
okay.
fine, except of course the known problem.
yeah, the black window, I figured out that the problem comes from the fact that this application that I used to use, that I still want to use, but I cannot use anymore, is called Sublime Text, or Atom, is not made by Mac, not made by Apple. So it doesn't seem to capture. This particular thing that I'm using right now should be capturing and recording, as I hope it does. I think it is doing. I think it is recording. So we'll find out. We'll find out. Tonight we'll find out once the thing happens. So let's keep doing. What we just did on our steps that we have here, which is our installation steps. First thing, we added a apt repository, and the second thing we did is trusted it. Without this trust, you cannot install apt-get whatever New Relic, the last step. You cannot do it. This fourth item that we have, which is to install it, it will not function, not happen unless you sign it. You have to sign it with the key that they give. So this apt-get will not work no matter what you do unless you sign the repository. The signature is available in step number 2. You have to trust it. I know what I'm doing. I trust this is New Relic. And you do that by the signature they give you. And let us look at the signature itself. Let's go look at the signature here. So it's coming. I'm going to open the signature in the web browser like this. And the signature came in a classic download, right? So I'm going to save it on my desktop and then open it in Finder. And then again in a notepad, which is not Sublime Text, I hope. Let's rename it to TXT and open it. And so here is a PGP block. Zoom in. So this is the signature that New Relic sent us. When it said verify trust, that's what we are verifying. This is the PGP key that New Relic has put against their apt repository. Their repository is located on this location, download.newrelic.com/wherever it is, and the key is 548C16BF, and the key looks like what you saw before, that one. That key we are doing and putting that as a trusted key in our box, so the box trusts it. Next step is to now actually update the apt cache. So we'll update the apt cache by doing apt-get update. And this time at the very last, also pulling up not just Ubuntu, but also New Relic. You will see that at the very last, it's coming up. It did not. Where is New Relic? There it is. Actually, it already did here. So in the list of all the keys, it also went to New Relic, apart from all the Ubuntu steps in apt-get update. So it actually trusted it. These two lines would not be included if you did not trust New Relic. Everything else is Ubuntu except these two. And they came down through apt cache because you trusted the GPG key. Next step. Now we are ready to install the New Relic agent on this box, which means we have to run this simple command that goes like this. That's it. Apt-get install New Relic sysmon d, system monitoring daemon. So we'll run that like this, clear and paste, and then enter. It will install the New Relic system monitor daemon, and it did. Now it says you cannot start this monitor until you insert a valid license key in that file. You can do that file by using VI editor, nano editor, or there is a quick command for it, which is nr sysmon d config set license key equals, and then your license key. So you do that step by going like this. nr sysmon config set license equals license key equals, and then you find your license. So let us go and find our license. Our license is available somewhere in the name, account setting, and where is my license? Yeah, there is a license key in the account settings. In the license key is available like this. If you go to the upper right corner, that's where you will find the license. Put your name, click your name, and go account settings, and that is where you should find your license. So you grab the license from there, copy, bring it down to your notepad and paste, and don't leave a space there. And the perspective of setting up your license in your terminal. So you clear the screen again, and then you paste, and then you enter. And looks like we just added a new server, which means we should go to our server listing and see what shows up. We should have a new report coming up from New Relic server pretty soon. A new server will show up. Add more. You don't need to add more. Let us see if the New Relic service is running. It is not. Let's see, a reboot should fix it. Add a new server. We did that. Add a new Ubuntu server. We did these steps. Oh, we have to add a start option. There we go. So the start the daemon like this. That step was missing in the documentation. Okay, so the documentation that I gave you is a little stale. The correct documentation is this one. It's coming up in your email. The older documentation that I emailed you does not have this one step. Or maybe I missed that step. Yeah, I missed that step. It has it. It has it. I missed that step. Yeah, it has. Yeah. So start the daemon by saying, please start. And so we'll do that. Please start step. It's already running because I rebooted, and so we should now have a new relic. Yes.
Did you do a GitHub on the init.d? Is that what you did? What was the init.d?
Let's see. What I did was this.
There it is. Okay.
And so
like start. Okay. All right. So I've started the daemon now.
Yeah. So when the daemon starts, it will start reporting its data to New Relic, and which means we should go to the server tab and find our new server. And there it is. It's called monitoring. See this new server machine that I had created in DigitalOcean, I called it monitoring. So that's the machine. And its CPU is 0%, the disk IO is 0%, nothing. It's all 0. It's a fresh server. Right? Sorry. It is all 0 because it is a brand new server. Not much data. And so all of it is 0. And you can see that it has one CPU, and it is Ubuntu 14.04, and the server doesn't have any apps loaded. So that's the next step. We want to make sure that our server has applications reporting this behavior of the application itself to New Relic. We have just added the server part of the code. We haven't added any applications running on that. The application does not know what to do with it. What to do with New Relic, they have no idea. WordPress doesn't know.
So you put the agent on the server that you're monitoring.
Right, but not the application yet. So the application called WordPress does not report.
So there's a manager-agent relationship. The manager only communicates to the agent. Are you saying that the agent has to understand a little bit more about its environment? Okay.
The agent has to know that I need to report to New Relic. WordPress has no idea. Ubuntu does. Ubuntu now does. So we installed our agent on Ubuntu, and it knows what to do with it. So if you look at our so we installed on our server, we installed New Relic. So the server knows to report its data to New Relic. So you get reporting about CPU, memory, disk I/O, and what else? Network. Basic characteristics you are available, right? About the server, because the server is reporting to New Relic because you installed a daemon, nrsysmon D.
So is the agent registered with the server yet?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
And it showed up here. Right?
Oh, you showed us that.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so here it is showing up. Server is called monitoring.
Okay.
And I have now 4 servers being monitored.
Okay.
Now the next thing that is not done yet is that the application level monitoring part, meaning we have our server. The server runs an application called WordPress. This WordPress doesn't know that it is supposed to report to New Relic. The server knows, and that's good, and it reports these characteristics, right? CPU, network, disk. It is reporting these characteristics, but the application is not yet reporting. So the application performance, how fast are my pages getting loaded? So if I open my WordPress,
It shows the application, but it's not monitoring what the application is.
yes, yes,
So you can see that application is consuming this much memory. But
yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
So let's
So
go. Let's go see.
basic
Let's go.
server
Yeah. So we go and see our applications.
So is this a hook that you're going to demonstrate?
We will actually install an agent, a specific plugin to WordPress. Actually,
Plugin.
a plugin into WordPress.
Okay, not a.
No, not a hook. So we will install a plugin into this WordPress application and ask that plugin to send application related characteristics back to New Relic.
Okay.
Right?
Via the agent.
Yes, via the agent. So if you look at our applications and see what applications we are currently running. Hey, do you see application characteristics? I don't see it.
I see applications, but I don't see characters.
What do you see?
Well, it says the server is not posted any apps, but it shows under processes. So you can
Processes
see.
you will see,
Right.
But the application itself, like in this tab, API,
Right.
so we have to install a web agent. So we will install this PHP agent. That's what we do. So there is a plugin already. So you get a license key on that. But the plugin already available
That we should be using, and we'll configure that plugin with WordPress and have that plugin connect to New Relic, so it will report much more interesting insights than just saying process level. Right? The insights are interesting from the perspective of the user. What was the average application page load time? Like, was it taking too long, like 10 seconds or 2 seconds or less than that? That will be giving us more insightful information about the application's user interaction, which is more meaningful. You will see that in this other example. Let's say, for example, this site. It is showing you this application called prod EDX app LMS. Web transaction time is 56 milliseconds. How quick that is. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? Compare that with some other application, WordPress, coming up. It is 348 milliseconds.
Is this one of the services you use?
Yes.
Cloud Genius?
Yes, yes, yes. There are active live production sites. I'm just showing you the results.
Yeah.
Where there are 2 applications I showed you. The top level numbers are 348 for the WordPress server, which is the WordPress performance characteristics, the average response time for web transactions, compared to the average response time of LMS, the learning management system called edX that I'm deploying, and it is 55.2 millisecond. Pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And so here, if you go and open up that site,
So is this still free for you, even the usage you have?
the usage you have to pay for the machine, pay for CPU. That's it. Everything else is open source.
Okay,
Everything else is open source. So totally free. Yes.
yeah. Well, I was wondering about the service itself. Once you get it up and operational with the number of probes that you end up deploying, you hit a threshold and pretty soon they start charging you.
They meaning who? DigitalOcean? Yes.
No, New Relic.
New Relic, I think, has a very flexible and lenient licensing policy.
Okay,
So I have not paid New Relic.
okay.
I don't intend to unless
Good.
unless
It's
I
a nice
need to.
service.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Unless you're a large corporation, I don't think they charge. I'm not buying certain things from them, but most of it is for what I need.
If it stays here under the radar.
Yeah, I'm under the radar. I'm totally
I
okay.
guess that's what I'm asking is where does the radar?
The radar is probably heavy, like 20 machines or more. I'm
Yeah.
not there yet. I have in my current scenario, I have an HA proxy. I have 2 boxes right now run my app called EDX app 1, EDX app 2, and then I have the MySQL database,
Yeah.
and then I have outsourced all my Mongo services. They are not with me. I've taken it out
Yeah.
to compose.io. So they run my Mongo, so I don't have to worry about machines. I give them $18 per month. This is a box, $10. This is another box, $10.
Yeah, right.
This is a box, $40. Another box, $40. That's it.
That's it.
And then, oh, by the way, one more box, $5. You know what that box is? The Bastion. Right. That's my current deployment. And then I have another box, which is the old website that currently runs on a $20 machine, the WordPress. This is the 364 millisecond response time that you see. And these guys are giving me a pretty darn good response time. Of course, I'm paying more, but the response time is 53 milliseconds as opposed to 364. And you can see it real life and you can actually feel it. You can feel this site is more bouncier than this site. This one that's coming up is kind of slow. Still does come up nicely, but it is slower compared to this site. The new site that you may have seen me develop is really quick, really responsive, and I have, by the way, appropriately marked contents and dates and everything in line, ducks in a row. So duck alignment is happening. So this class starts on which day it does? April 24th. So I have it, and all the thing is put in place. So the detail, and you can add to cart and go to shopping cart and pay. All that thing is set up nicely. But site is responsive. That's what I'm saying. Back to here. Back to here is this thing that we have to add, an application level monitoring and measurement technique, which is typically done through a method called a plugin. So first thing, we'll go and look at our plugins available. And there are some plugins here. These plugins, you see them on your machines also. You should see the same thing. When you log on to your WordPress, you should see the same things. Like this plugin called Hello Dolly plugin. You seen that? Hello Dolly plugin is a very beautiful plugin. And all it does is says, well, hello Dolly, in the upper left corner. Have you seen that? It's a pretty darn good, it's part of WordPress. You cannot remove it. It comes with the open source product called Hello Dolly. And you will see that on this upper right corner, it goes through a cycle with the lyrics of the melody, the song, which is a beautiful song, by the way. And I figured out about Louis Armstrong only when the iPhone 4 came out. I did not know that gentleman existed, or even still exists, I don't know. But he existed, and it's such a beautiful voice. Wow. Wow. This iPhone 4 advertisement had this FaceTime advertisement. You remember? It was his song. Yeah. When you're smiling.
Oh, yeah.
That was his voice. in the ad. And that's when I first heard, I said, what is that song? And who's the singer? And then I started looking for the gentleman. It's like, wow. I knew the Hello Dolly, but I did not know the connection. Like the other day, I asked, what is snake oil? The only time I saw snake oil was in the certificate. My first interaction with the word snake oil was in the certificate. I said, what is this?
Didn't know we went back to
Did
1910s when they
no idea.
snake oil, so-
No idea. So I knew this fellow Hello Dolly from WordPress, but I had no idea what the content. Why is this? Why does this show? I mean, every time you refresh, there is a different phrase. I can tell Dolly, and it goes on and goes on, right? And so while the band's playing, and so I'd never understood until 2000, or whenever the iPhone 4 came out. So then I have the whole collection of Armstrong. Beautiful. Wow. I mean, I cannot stop talking about him. But so 2 plugins, you activate them, you update them, and then you install and all that good stuff. But here you add another plugin. And the plugin we want to add is about New Relic. And so here, there are a couple of different choices available for New Relic to integrate into WordPress. And we want to use the second choice, which is the first choice is not really relevant because GigaOM as a company is dead by now. If you don't know this, do you? GigaOM is dead. It bankrupt.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so GigaOM, that company, I think they went out of business. So we can ignore them for now, right? So the second plugin is good one. And this not only does a lot, this plugin is like exhaustive. It's impressively beautiful and very, very complex. Just telling you. We will use only this one feature called New Relic in that plugin. Just to zoom on straight on the point, the plugin is exhaustive. I mean, it will be mind-blowing once you install and start looking at the feature set. It will totally blow your mind. So don't get digressed. Focus just on New Relic. Get that part complete, and then we'll come back and discuss how this plugin helps. It's a performance plugin, so it will help you improve your site performance. And we'll talk about that, but let's finish through the New Relic segment completely, and we'll come back and discuss this if you're interested. So we'll install this New Relic plugin. Oh, sorry, it is the W3 total. You just go to WordPress on the left side plugin, and then on the right side search keyword New Relic. And when you type New Relic, you will find these 4 or 5 plugins.
See it.
Did you? New Relic, one word, not 2 parts. New Relic, one word.
Yep.
So you should, or maybe just search for W3 Total Cache. That's
We
also
gotta go to add plugins. It won't be in the current plugins because you haven't
add
installed
new. Add new.
Oh.
If you don't find it, search for this. Add new plugin Total Cache.
I got it. Thank you.
And this plugin, as I said, is extremely complex, but very important to understand because it is pretty darn impressive. 4.6 million downloads of the plugin. Just realize that number. 4.6 million downloads as opposed to 2,000 or 72 or 719. So that's how it rolls. It's the number of downloads, and the rating and ranking is like 4.5 stars. Wow. 4.5 stars of 4.6 million downloads is something. Just imagine that. Like, it is something serious. So we will use that. I will install this. And compared to the other guys on the same page, the other guys don't exist in my mind, honestly. Even though they may be big names like GigaOM, but they don't exist. In my mind, this is the one.
Yeah.
So we'll go install that one. And install is one click. It is installed already. And so we'll now activate the plugin. And there comes trouble. Trouble in terms of, okay, what do I do now? Trouble, right? It's really, really huge. So let's first of all, this activate Akismet. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to deactivate, like clean up my screen, okay? And then begin reading. It says Total Cache. As the name indicates, it is a caching and performance plugin, right? Which means it will not only actually improve the performance of your site, but also help you in monitoring how the performance is. So that's the first thing we'll do, is focus on, zoom in on the performance related monitoring aspect first, and then come back, look at what it has. And so it also, you can try out new features as soon as they are ready. Click here, do not click. Click here to enable edge mode. So we don't want to go to edge mode. Edge mode is like bleeding edge. You don't want to go there right now. You will hide this message and proceed. Now on the left side, there is a new button called performance that showed up. And here you will see there are a host of options. At the very top, there is a dashboard option. Then we have general settings. Then we have page cache, and then Minify, and database cache, and object cache, and browser cache, and user agent groups, and refer groups, and CDN. You can inject a CDN into your WordPress blog just like that by clicking this button and providing, say, CloudFront information. Give it the CloudFront API, create a CloudFront endpoint, and have CloudFront be the front for your WordPress with few clicks. That's it. The plugin makes it super easy. What you can do is come back here after you're done with the monitoring part, which is what we're focusing on right now. We'll do the monitoring first, then come back and play with the other aspects also. But CDN will help you have a content delivery network like CloudFront front your site, meaning all the hit, the burden, the load, the heavy lifting, CloudFront. Intelligence, database access, information, come to me. Pictures, videos, go to CDN. Offload me. That's the idea behind CDN, and we can do that very simply by using any CDN you like with this. So right now we are focusing again on monitoring. We'll do that part very quickly. So we'll click on the monitoring button like this. Oh, not here, here. Click monitoring, and now we are on the monitoring button. Now here in the monitoring section, at the very, where is New Relic? Okay, it says at the very top, it says monitoring via New Relic is currently disabled. Okay, I know. And so I need to enable it. So where is our setting for enabling that? Okay, at that same monitoring tab, you will see that application setting could not be retrieved. New Relic may not be configured properly. Please review the settings. So we'll review the settings. And here, there is an option comes up that says enable New Relic. I'll click the enable button. And then it asks me for an API key, which is different from a license key. As you remember, we got a license key before that looked like this. This time we have to get an API key from New Relic. So don't get confused between API key and a license key. Go to New Relic and find out your API key. So where is that? Somewhere here. Account admin. Somewhere here you will find the API key. But where is that? That's the question.
Which one's that?
New Relic API.
In the license?
No, they're two different things. You have to get the API key this time, not the license key. License key, we already gave it to our machine like this by adding this command, right? We gave the license key already, so it knows us and all that. But we need to now get an API key, which is not the license key. And the API key is, you know how to search it? The best way to search it?
Google.
Yes. So say New Relic and API key and enter, and it will come up. That link, that's the link. So we'll follow this, generating your API key. So you have to go to the integration tab. You have to go to account setting, integration, data sharing, API access. So account setting, and then integration. Where is integration? Integration, and then what? Data sharing. Yeah, and then API access. So that's how you go. So you go to account setting, and then integration here, then data sharing, and then you get your API key. And you grab the API key, and you take it and go to your WordPress and paste it right there. Again, do it again. You have to go to New Relic and go to the section called your name on the upper right corner. Go to account admin, account settings, and then on the left side, look for integration, and below that, look for data sharing. And then you get the API key. You grab that API key and then give it to this guy, WordPress. And here you enable New Relic and you click to verify the API key. And it says API key verified. Good job. Okay, now what? Now I have to select an application ID. So I'm going to select the following application ID. And I'm going to retrieve the application list and then drop down, and I get 4 applications there. But that's none of them I want because they are existing applications. So I want to create a new one. Enter a new application below. And in here, I'm going to say, it actually pulled down my list of applications from the site, the service. I have 4 apps running already. I don't want to disturb them. I want to create a new one. And I'm going to call it classroom. Just simple. And say changing application name may create a new application in New Relic if no application with that name already exists. Yeah, I know. That's a good thing. That's exactly what I want. There's no such thing called Classroom in my New Relic account. So I can use this name and it will create a new application, and I just save. And I did. And then it says lots of other things like PHP module is not enabled, New Relic is not running, you have to add a PHP module, PHP agent is not enabled, and all that. So you have to fix these things. I think this is a case where DigitalOcean has not set up WordPress correctly. If you set WordPress up correctly with appropriate modules enabled and agent enabled, this pop-up should not even come. And so we have to go and fix these things. And so we'll do that. This red alert that showed up that says New Relic is not running because PHP module is not enabled. PHP agent is not enabled. Application ID is not configured. And that is just lame. So we have to go and do that by hand. So we review the settings. And make sure to go to our machine here and enable those segments line by line, which the work DigitalOcean should have done already. I don't know why they did not do it. They should have done it already. Or you have to set up your WordPress complete, like all the elements needed correctly set up. PHP module not enabled. So we'll go search it and New Relic and see what comes up. And so yeah, people are running into this. And I never ran into this because I never used DigitalOcean ready-made droplet. I always go through the whole step doing by hand using my Chef script that you already have played. So that's another choice. If you still have your Chef repository in place, just play it against a DO droplet and it'll be okay. But if not, then you need to do this. PHP agent setting. So we have to configure certain parameters already, which is lame, but we'll do it. Hold on. Install the agent, Ubuntu. We did that, right? Yes. Okay, they have done a New Relic install script. So where is that install script? New Relic install, what's the location? Finding the installer script. Okay, it's already there. Good, we just have to invoke this. So let's go invoke it. So in our terminal, we invoke this. It's not found. Crazy. Okay. You find it first. Not found. What am I missing? PHP agent. Installation PHP agent on Ubuntu. Okay.
Is it the, we have to get the New Relic PHP?
Yeah, you have to get this line. Here you have to follow these steps. So let's do that. apt-get update and apt-get New Relic PHP 5. Let me send this to you in email. Let me finish succeeding actually first before I send it to you. Otherwise, we'll go around circles. So let me quickly finish these steps and then come back and email it to you. So this finishes apt-get. And then apt-get install New Relic PHP 5. Say yes. Proceed. New Relic license key. That's where you add your key, license key. Okay, not API, but license. Fine. So where is our license key? The license key is in our account settings. And here is the license key. So we'll go and add it in our license key and say OK. And call it classroom. OK. And I think that should take care of it. Restart your web server. Okay, that should take care of it from our WordPress perspective. So here, if I just refresh it when it is ready, it should just, these errors should go away. That's what I'm expecting. And if they do go away, I will email you these steps, the last 2 lines. And that should go away by now. So refresh. And it is not running. Application ID is not configured. Fine. So we'll go and configure it. So go to settings. And here, application ID, verify API key, and then select from a list. And the list now has classroom. So we'll select that and then save. And that completes our setup. So yes, that was the case. We were missing this last 2 lines. Actually, the last line only, which is apt-get install New Relic -PHP 5 for language-specific library for PHP. That piece was missing in my steps of install. So that was our responsibility. Now I was blaming DO for no reason. I was blaming them for no reason because I never ran into it because my chef script already accommodates that, and I forgot. So sorry, DO is good. I still like them. Yeah, so this line should do it. If you want me to email this line, I can email it, but it's just apt-get install New Relic PHP 5. That should bring you a scenario where you have your application level monitoring also enabled. So now you can go back to New Relic, and in your list of applications, you should see a new item called Classroom, which is a PHP application, and its response time is better than my other box. My other box is kind of slow compared to this. 125 milliseconds is decent for a $10 droplet. And this is a $20 droplet and slow. You know why? Plugins. Plugins hurt you. So I just added this plugin and I just showed you, but more plugins you add, the more likely your site can become slow.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have added that has made my site slow is the plugin that I use, which I need to remove because I don't use it. And that is a shopping cart plugin that you have now seen that I have a different shopping cart already. So I can click on this button and actually add to cart. This shopping cart is already built in. I don't need that other shopping cart in my DigitalOcean droplet. I should remove that. But having configured this, now we can go back to our application level monitoring and monitor the application's characteristics and performance like this. So it already started to get some data. So you see a spike coming up, and it will accumulate data about the application. So you can see which pages, which transactions are taking the longest amount of time. So the admin page, which is the administration interface of WordPress that I was looking at, where I was installing the plugins on that same page, is taking 38 milliseconds long. Homepage, 46 milliseconds. Okay. Load styles, admin Ajax, load scripts. So various files that are getting loaded, you can actually focus on areas that are causing you trouble. I mean, causing your customers trouble. You can focus on that just like that by looking at what is causing the problem. Specific to the application, how many alerts is it generating? How many errors is it generating? No errors. Good. What's the availability look like for the last 3 months? You can do that for other applications, not for this one we just deployed, but you can see the availability scenario for the application. It is 99.19% available with some downtime at that time. About failed 24 times over 8 minutes. The most recent was at 5:48 today, 12 hours ago. So it had a downtime. Fine. But you still get a 99.982%. Decent. And practically okay. You can live with that. For $20, what do you expect?
Yeah.
And so what we just did was this aspect of installing a plugin with WordPress called Total Cache, and we focused just on the monitoring part. This part, there are lots of pieces, lots of missing and complex pieces to deal with. In this particular plugin, we are focusing just on the monitoring section. We were able to enable New Relic by putting an API key and also installing this missing library that was missing. And so it detected and added an API key, and then we were able to drop it down, save it all, and then it is application level reporting to New Relic in addition to the server level reporting, which happens from this sysmon-d. New Relic sysmon-d. It's reporting server level characteristics, and this plugin is reporting application level characteristics. Plugin application level characteristic expects an application programming interface, API key, as opposed to the daemon expects you to provide a license key. Same thing. But different characteristics being reported to New Relic, as you see here. Right? So do you see yourself, your application showing up in your New Relic account already? Good. If you're stuck, just let me know. We'll fix it.
Really have a lot of data, so it's something
So what we did today, we used a monitoring service, and we used an agent. That agent comes in 2 forms at least: the application level agent and the server level agent. These agents need to run wherever the server is or wherever the application is. They need to run on those locations. Agents are issued by these guys, the service itself. And the role of the agent is to report. It's like your secret spy. It reports what's going on with the service. And what this service does is, in a user interface, show you what that thing is doing, right? So you can actually have beautiful user interfaces, such as New Relic iPhone app. And you can see it, all these apps being monitored, all the servers being monitored, all the application level
characteristic being monitored, including the classroom map showing up. Right? Yeah, the 4 apps that you saw, and you see this. The classroom map just showed up. Showing expenses. Servers, 4 servers, and application like that. So we can do that. Three simple marketing service. Yeah. Simple charts. Yeah. All of that you can see the checks.
Okay, well,
Nicely developed apps for iPad, iPhones, and Android everywhere.
Into the device itself.
There you have people from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you going to play with for fun?
Oh, he's got some internet-enabled cameras and things like that, like the Nest. You know, so all of a sudden, you know, the monitoring service, you know, provides a little bit of additional reliability on the services that you're putting in the house. So
IP cams, I guess. Yeah, beautiful. If you have a second home, third home, you can put IP cams and monitor it from your iPhone. Or if something goes wrong within proximity, temperature changes, you know, water comes in, or some motion happens in the area where you don't expect to see motion, you can alert 911
so
and pay $10,000 fine.
Yes. That's right.
So does New Relic talk some of the industry protocols that are already there?
I think it's
Like
one of the good
SMP?
ones. Yeah, it's not a it's a commercial offering. It is commercial. It is not a free service. It is not a protocol. It is a money-making machine.
Okay.
It is about money. So it is not open source. Not open source. If you
Which one? I was asking about
New Relic,
New Relic.
not open source. Open source, if you want to get, you go Nagios.
So which one have we been talking about?
New Relic,
Nagios.
Sensu.
Wait a minute.
You should do these things instead. They're
Okay.
very similar.
Uh,
Except I chose New Relic because it's easier to demonstrate the concept.
and they have, it is free what we're using.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're deploying on a large scale, I would recommend these guys. Like, totally.
How do you start the web server?
Reboot is quick one. If not, in Apache restart or Nginx restart, I don't know what they're using on the terminal. Let's see. Apache. So service Apache 2 restart. So let's go there and say service Apache 2 restart should do it.
So the agents that you installed were New Relic.
Yes. I use New Relic because it is quick and easy to
But you
demonstrate
paid for
that
the service.
I do not pay. It is free.
You just got done saying that you paid for the service. You said newrelic.com, it's a monitoring service. I'm getting confused.
I know. Let
I'm
me
asking
explain.
very specific questions. They're like true and false.
It's not,
So it is free beyond a threshold. So if
it's not open source.
not open source.
Not
There's a-
open source,
There's a
okay.
premium model.
Okay.
So if you're
Some-
below the line, it is $0.
Okay, got it.
If you're above the line, it is not 0.
Not open source.
If you want 15-minute response time, it's not free. Customer service.
It is not open source,
Okay, got it.
which is the reason I would suggest that you stick with these guys. These two guys are
Nagios,
open source.
Okay.
I would strongly suggest Sensu. Totally beautiful, little bit harder to deploy because you have to now do your own Sensu box. And then you deploy your machines. And then you have it monitored. And then you watch your reports here.
And those are both open source.
Yes.
monitoring. Okay.
Same thing with Nagios. You have to deploy Nagios, which is kind of a hard thing. You take a droplet and you deploy a Nagios there first, configure it right. And then you have your droplets, you install Nagios agents and have them report. And this will show you in a UI. And all of this is free. All of this is also free and open source. And so is this, open source and free. You do the same thing with New Relic, except it is not open source.
Okay.
It is free for certain limits. So New Relic is again similar model, except this is a hosted service, not a server. In case of Nagios, it is your own box. And so with Sensu.
Okay.
So if you have your own box, you can set aside one box in your, maybe two boxes in your organization that is responsible for collecting performance related data from all your machines in the cloud, in your cloud. And it becomes a viable model to go this route if you're doing it for like 100 or more machines.
That's what Boeing does. We do our own monitoring.
Right, so you deploy this
Yeah.
and stop paying HP. I'm just saying. Yes,
We decide to pay through the nose, we get HP.
I know. So your company has a different model. They like to pay people so that
Yeah.
they feel trusted and feel secure that somebody is behind this. If something goes wrong, you can hold them responsible, right?
HP stands for high price.
Right.
High price.
High price neglect.
What?
No, it actually stands for HP. HP stands for HP invent.
Yeah, HP what? Oh, yeah.
Invent.
HP. Okay.
What I think is, I've got all the API key and all that loaded, restarted the service. Where do I look to get this monitoring?
NewRelic.com.
I know. I don't see that, is it the applications or?
Both. So you see it in the APM application list or server list.
Servers, APM applications, or servers, two choices.
Oh, there it is.
What do you see?
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
Heights, name, classroom.
Yes, sir.
no, I was gonna ask you where the applications that related to the servers, and you're saying under APM?
Yeah, APM has applications.
Okay,
That's
so
right. And server
that-
has servers.
Okay,
Nice.
Okay. We have really one Mike's classroom attempt. Successful attempt. Good. So in terms of next step, I think what I would suggest is that you deploy Nagios on your own. It's non-trivial. It's not like you set up New Relic and create a login name and be done with it. Not that simple. But it's not that hard either.
Yeah.
What you would do is if you like you're doing already, exactly that's what I would do is go to nagios.org and say documentation. Click. And they'll give you exactly what to do, one by one. They start guide. Boom, boom, boom. That's what you do when you have a complete Nagios ready.
so when you punch a hole in the firewall, if I were to go ahead and monitor the number of servers I have in the house, go ahead, punch a hole in the firewall to the, well, no, if I did Nagios, it would all be behind the firewall.
It's all inside your file.
Yeah, if I were to do the New Relic, that would be external, I'd have to punch a hole to the server.
So
I'd have to do a lot of.
depends on whether you need a hole or not. In most companies, you don't need a hole. Maybe Boeing would need a hole. See, where a hole is needed is like this.
I think Boeing might need a hole. I don't know. But most companies would not need a hole. Here is why. In most organizations, you have a firewall. And the organizations has machines inside the company. People cannot access computers inside, sitting outside. Like this dude on the street, he cannot access this box. He doesn't even know that the box exists.
Right.
However, in most corporations, I don't know about Boeing, this box can reach the internet comfortably, no problem.
Right.
You don't have to open a port. It just boom, goes. No problem. So you try on your Boeing laptop, try opening Google Drive. Yeah.
The problem is when you have a manager on the outside and it's querying an agent on the inside, now you have a block.
I know. The role that these agents operate is that the person outside doesn't go inside. Is the agent reporting it
The
outside?
agent is pushing out. All right.
So you don't need this traffic
Yeah.
at all. So there is no need for a hole.
Okay. So if it's event driven, so if it's pulled, then you do. So
In this case, where the person is sitting outside and they want to come inside,
Yeah.
that needs a hole.
yeah.
You don't need this. The agent is sitting inside and it's a trusted agent. You trusted it. So it will report periodically and the person outside will gather it. However, you can circumvent all of this and install Nagios inside your firewall here. Put Nagios right here in the firewall, so there is no hole needed. You have all your boxes,
I got it.
they just report,
Yeah.
and your boss looks at the UI
Which is the way-
and feel happy.
Yeah, Boeing.
Yep, do it like this. Totally no problem. All inside. Nothing goes outside. No need of a hole. No need to worry about a hole.
Oh, yeah.
No, nothing. Just do it all in the house. And that is an exercise for you. So I would like you to set up a Nagios and send me a screenshot. It is hard. Not kidding. It requires some juggling around with terminal and reading the documentation diligently. But you can deploy Nagios. It's not that hard. I'm just exaggerating. About hardness, I'm exaggerating. It is non-trivial. That's how I would say. It's not hard. It is not as simple as that what you just did. New Relic, go log in, set up, boom, boom, done. It's not like that.
Brian, you can just send us.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. He'll charge you for the screenshot. He'll charge you for the screenshot, I guess. He'll send you an invoice along with that. Yeah, and he'll automate it through Zapier on FreshBooks. How about that? So this is the classic model. I used to dream of these things, by the way, when I was in college, like a long time ago. We used to have these boring assignments by boring professors who, just do everything, just elongated, boring, attempted. I don't know what was that like. So we used to outsource it. I'm talking about 27 years. 27 years ago, outsource boring work. I did that. This is
freed up your mind.
yeah, exactly. And so you outsource your work to somebody else who might actually write it for you. Why not? Because the work is boring. I mean, I hated boring work. So if you think that installing Nagios is boring, let me tell you, you don't have to do it. You do not have to do it. But please don't ask him. Or if you do, pay him.
Well, what's that? I charge more than $3 an hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say. This will be a 10 cent.
Oh, no. The guy is not sitting in India,
What was that Amazon thing?
A hit. Human interface task. I like. Yeah, it's called Mechanical Turk.
Yeah.
Right? The word Turk is kind of a derogatory word in some cultures. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they use that word. The word is bad word in some cultures, not all cultures. But they use it. And so they use it, then that's a service. But it's worse than Git. That's what I understand.
We're gonna find out. I'm looking it up in some Wikipedia, so I'll find out.
Yeah. Urban Dictionary is probably better for these things. But,
Urban Dictionary.
Or not.
yeah, or not. And so, my idea is that I would like you to set up Nagios and send me screenshots. And not just Nagios, but have at least one guy reporting to Nagios. So you can at least have some meaningful insight about what is Nagios doing.
Use a similar model of DigitalOcean.
Same thing. The two droplets, one runs Nagios, one runs your test case. and off you go. It doesn't have to be DigitalOcean. It can be on your laptop and another laptop in your office. Works fine.
That's what I was thinking.
Totally works fine. But again, use virtual machines so you don't mess up your machines. Throw them away after you're done.
That's what I'm doing.
In a bigger corporation or even a mid-sized corporation, what would be a use case of a lot of these? I mean, how are people, concrete, like T-Mobile, I mean, how do, the setting this up, how is it mostly a small, I mean, obviously it's not just small businesses. Or is it, how would you set up, say, if you're a medium-sized corporation?
So if you have, like, say, 100 or more servers, you would deploy one box for a Nagios machine, and then have that box in a medium-sized corporation I'm describing. So you're going to have one Nagios big box collecting all your statistics, and then you will carve out departments like my service department, my production deployment here, my marketing and sales people, all these boxes. It doesn't need to be web servers only. It can monitor anything that you have a CPU,
You
right?
know what? We could probably use this as an innovation to compete against HP.
Well, I was just sitting here thinking about this, going, there's these things out here and they obviously have widespread use, lots of users, lots of success. How does anybody still buy HP or IBM Tivoli or something else?
And let me tell you how it happens, because that's how you did business for the last 50 years.
Yes, right.
That's why it happens,
Great. Yeah.
right? There is no other reason for it to continue to happen. And the invitation I have is that, there is no reason for it to happen. Keep on going. This is not how people make money going forward.
And Nagios probably isn't taking anybody out for golf.
You just cracked the ball, the root, right? That is the root. And so if you apply this fear of uncertainty, the fear of unknown, the fear of missing out, is this fear that you actually compare with the regret that you will have. It's called anticipated regret. You heard of this thing? You already do it all the time. You anticipate something will happen in the future, and to make sure that it doesn't happen, you do certain things today, like buy insurance. Right? That's a future potential regret that you want to avoid. So I know. And so that's what is going on in corporate purchases. That's what goes on. It's this fear of missing out, fear of future regrets, or future of...
Did you say that again, Nilesh? You said something about anticipated regret is about missing out on a future event?
Yep. Fear of missing out.
Okay.
That's what it is.
And it could be anything.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. Most humans do it, and there is no solution to the problem.
Now this fear I'm talking about is also,
So it makes
there's fear is, management. Number one is security. Two is dealing with government, international. There's all that. It's like you have to get through that filter to even begin to discuss anything. Because I don't care if it costs nothing or $10. If they want to pay $1 million and say HP, you're going to guarantee that this won't happen. That that's the kind of trade-off you got to make. And if you're at a higher level in the company, that's always going to be there. That fear that you can always go to HP.
Well, you're sharing a burden. So I understand what you're talking about. You're sharing the responsibility, but now with what we're seeing in open source, barcode scans make sure that the software is relatively reliable, no back doors. There's some security we bring in, something like we bring in Nagios, we go ahead and we set up an innovation opportunity, and we compete it against the HP stuff.
So, I think Lush hit on some things a while back that we get all concerned about, is it secure, is it reliable, is it this, is it that? But you can look at from the standpoint of millions of users using it.
Well,
And-
and millions of developers developing on it, which is what you're always saying.
Right, so everybody's looking at the code all the time, so is
So
it
is
more
Chinese-
secure or less secure than, say, HP developing it outside of the country?
Yeah.
And all the source code is locked up, closed,
Well,
and you don't even get to look at it.
I
What
would-
would you trust?
I would say that your position is because of the millions of people worldwide working on it, it's more secure.
It is, no, I'm not comparing. That's not how you compare security. No. When you want to compare security, you have the additional insight of people outside open source world looking at your code. You control it.
Right.
You don't depend on them. You use them. So you don't trust random dudes like in India or China or Russia, wherever they are. You make use of them to help fix your bugs. You don't trust them, but you basically use them. Here's how you do it. So you have, let's say, an open source project. Let's call it Nagios, right? You have this. If I were you, what would I do? I'll clone the branch, like fork the repository. Call it my Boeing Nagios. And then I start controlling it because I dictate what goes in, what goes out, and match that. So let's go to Nagios fork in GitHub.
All right,
And so here is Nagios on GitHub.
I think this is our innovation we're going to try.
And Nagios core. So that's the Nagios core application, right? So here how many people have forked it already? 36 people have forked it. So you fork like this and call it my Cloud Genius fork of Nagios core. And so now I am controlling this particular fork of Nagios, and this is the Cloud Genius Nagios now.
Yeah.
Now I will look at the Nagios core at that particular commit, which is this version called 39, whatever number is this commit ID. And against that commit ID, I will go back to our core Nagios and find out how many issues exist. These are issues people have run into already with that software. Like this doesn't work, that doesn't work, and all these 15 or so issues. There's 2 bugs identified, and people are going to work on it. So I will now carefully monitor how people are sending pull requests. So they have 3 change requests already. 10 of them are already closed, which are incorporated into the main branch already. So I will look at these 3 that are open, understand what these changes are, and there are probably tiny changes. So 2 files changed, something modified here and something modified there. So understood. Good.
We forked off this.
Yeah, we forked, but we
There's
keep monitoring the
3
origin.
switches
These
here.
We incorporate them. After review, we incorporate them. We take them after reviewing, but very carefully.
Yeah,
Very carefully, diligently review what they are doing, because open source community will play in this game. We'll go look at what they're doing, and if we like that change, we'll take it. Selectively cherry pick the change. The word is cherry pick.
Just, as far as, we already popped in my head, as far as the amount of maintenance.
so the other thing we look at is we could holistically pick apart the HP suite and each of its characteristics. We could go after the UCMDB and some of the discovery with open source.
So
We can do that.
the idea is that
Cloud, though, first.
you have to do it internally first, like totally, like keep it inside. Don't rush to the cloud with these things.
No, that's what I'm saying, is we'll keep it on-prem.
On-premise, on your premises, and pick one example. Pick a fixed build, like you have this build, for example.
To no end.
So you go and build this, identify this tag. The latest tag that you get is probably 408. So get that tag, and then 408 tag, which is authored on 12th of August 2014. Freeze on that and work on it. So this 408 version was released under 2014. Since that time, how many bugs are identified? You can find through the issue list here, and work through that, and selectively cherry pick the changes you want and bring it to your main repository and in your fixes that you want, and you run it this as your own product in your company, locked down. You use the open source community to help you. And at some point, being a good citizen, what you should do is any changes you make, you contribute back to them.
Are there,
Keep it.
Sorry, just thinking out loud here. Just thinking, are there organizations out there consulting firms that are using this that will come in and, yeah. There you go.
Would we
All right.
would we get a kickback?
Okay.
Shut up.
All right. All right.
Yeah, okay, that was.
Oh, there's my job.
There you go work for him.
You know what we have? Seriously, I'm not joking, but you have this guy and me. We'll help you.
Yeah.
Honestly, we are open to doing that for you. We'll come and do it.
Well, the reason I bring that out is because I know, you look at what would be, think about in the corporate world, what's going to be the barriers. One, they're going to say it's open source and we don't trust that. Well, it's like, oh, you can, it's open. How would you trust?
Actually, I've checked the security policies just over the last couple of months, and there actually is an open source business process that's been installed worldwide that says it's good. And then what we have to do is we go to AWS, we run virus scans on it, and we bring it on-prem.
Well, and again, to me,
There's actually a process.
well, that's great. And to me, the security thing is like, again, who would you trust? Thousands of eyes looking at the code and using it, or nobody being able to, but the company that's selling.
So
So,
let me play devil's advocate for just a second. With open source, there's no entity that's taking any liability
I understand
except for
that.
you.
yeah,
So HP takes an awful lot of liability
Exactly.
with HPSA.
Yes.
And there are some guarantees. And the other thing that you see objections from the executive staff or the senior management is Bill here has been running HPSA for the last 5 years. He knows it in and out. We know what the output of this product's going to be. And Nagios, let's just say, it is a great product if you know it, if you're familiar with it, or if you're prepared to climb that mountain to get it implemented.
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
It's not actually a big mountain, it's more like that.
It's not that big a deal. I can do it
That's where
totally.
Consulting companies or consultants who come in. We hire consultants all the time.
And what I've seen,
Bring me in, I'll put a competitive bid,
okay,
and I'll invite these guys to come help me.
yeah.
I'll bring more if you need. If you need an army, I'll bring the army.
so what I've seen in the competitive bids with these things, and not, we won it, like the readout, we won it, is the company will get in and it's, okay, they see the free, they get stars in their eyes, oh, license, we're out of the licensing, horror story, and we love that. And so they just jump into the water feet first, not knowing whether there's rocks down there or not, and the people that they're putting on point to deploy it and be the person responsible for installing it and running it and delivering it to the customers are overworked. They haven't properly resourced or budgeted the
Oh, yeah,
hours.
that's true of anything.
Because it's free. Just
Well,
do
even
it.
if
Free,
it's
just
not
go do it.
free.
You don't even need to do the budgetary process.
So,
There's not as many controls.
So the beautiful example I would give with open source and the word free is that it is free, yes, but it is free like free puppy.
Yeah,
Have
exactly.
you seen a free puppy?
Right.
That's what it is. It is beautiful.
You gotta pay
It is
attention.
enjoyable. You will have a great time and everything. But remember, it comes with its benefits.
Absolutely. Well, and I don't think there's any question of that. It's just.
And you know what? The world is about free puppy now. It's not about, your trained dog. It's not a well-trained dog. The world is changed. You get free puppies and you enjoy them. And you mold them. You shape them to your culture. You shape them to live with you. You train them. You grow with them. That's how the world has changed. And that is what open source is about.
How tough is it to set up a third-party vendor like Valesh to bid or some other contractor? And that's the rub because, HP's already set up, they already have HP consulting. And so if your company's okay with bringing in these other parties.
It is difficult.
I know we can
Well-
we can figure that out. So let's not discuss these things. But yes, open the idea that we can come in if you need help.
Well, I guess I'm just batting around the idea of open source versus non-open in general, and it's not like you buy from HP or IBM. We don't understaffed either, because these companies will oversell the product. So, and it isn't just about, for things like this, it isn't even just about licensing being free, that it's cheaper that way. It's, is it more reliable? Because we're seeing a lot of the vendor products are not terribly reliable. They don't sell, they don't have hundreds of people using them. They sell to big corporations, and then they spend a lot of time and effort helping you get their application running.
So I think the way to think about is in this direction. Like, free doesn't mean it is $0.
No.
Free is actually meaning freedom. It's freedom to do whatever you want. That's what free is in open source. Not free. Not $0 free. That doesn't make sense. It's like free puppy. Free puppy may be free, but it comes with a whole lot of things, right? Just try to understand.
Kind of redirecting some of the costs internally too, grow your team and your knowledge internally on how to do these outs. And yeah, because you're not spending all that money to HP.
Well, any decent Linux or Unix administrator should just a few hours, be up to speed.
Yep. The hardest part is actually a command line like this. If you're comfortable with this, you can deal with it.
Yeah, and so, you have, if you spread out, if you go blow this out, and you go, the hard part in all this stuff is how do you institutionalize this into an organization?
Yes. And to institutionalize something as complex as things can be, what you do is you put processes around regulating step by step and do an internal review of everything you do and commit that in a Git repository. I'm just bringing up Git here, but that's how it rules in the open source world. You have your dev, your test, your doc, your documentation, your architects, and any other people from outside, all together sit and operate in a Git. You have a very methodical, systematic approach towards solving a problem. Git is not just about source code. You can put anything in there, in documentation in there, in Git. You see it all the time.
Well, we're having to put everything from, say, ClearCase into SharePoint now, and there's many different ways of
Yep.
So we actually brought in for an innovation, OpenStack, and it was actually Rackspace.
Yeah, I know you're deploying Rackspace. This guy, our Conrad, is doing it, right?
Yeah, so Rackspace was deploying the service, and we were bringing him in, hoping that the open source, OpenStack was going to be a better implementation. So right now we have VMware, a company competing to open source is what we're trying to do.
Yep. So Nitin Sanghi is doing the VMware part and Conrad is doing the OpenStack part, is what I understand.
Well, yeah, you have multiple,
trials.
Factories in the company that are doing it, so. All right.
You guys are running your own VMware in-house, or
Yeah. So in Boeing, everything has to be in-house.
Yeah, well,
Most of it.
right now, yeah. So you're talking about the VMware vCloud stuff? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing that.
Okay.
And it's in the process of being deployed. And it was kind of under the radar. And then we have the innovation side that says, let's try something new. And we did the Rackspace stuff with, we tried stripping everything out and we built an internal private cloud using OpenStack. And we had the Dell Cloud Manager sitting on top of it. So anyway, I don't know. So we'll look at the innovations and maybe there is an opportunity. So,
Please. Consulting operations, totally we can discuss that, but not in the classroom. Outside.
I understand. The other thing about open source is there a capability that matches a configuration management database? It says, I have all these configured items and I know the relationships. Yes, no?
Discovery?
Discovery, well, discovery would be a component. You would store it in a CMDB. It's a ITIL term, so nothing coming off the top of your head? Or,
No.
I don't think so.
There's some out there that require a lot of work.
One more time?
There's stuff out there that require a lot of work. I mean, what are you looking at? Well, it depends. What are you comparing it to now? What would you compare to open source?
Well, that's what I was wondering. It's
What do you have
not-
proprietary?
It's not a relational database, it's
Oh,
something,
No, what proprietary application would you be doing? things because
They call it, well, HP's is the UCMDB. We used to call it the underachieving configuration.
OpenGL, so you would compare to
Yeah,
okay.
there's, most of the vendors have a CMDB.
So rack tables is one. I'm older, so it's not
What was it called?
rack
Well, they
tables.
start with you.
It's open source.
Yeah,
But again, it's a lot of elbow grease. And it's not anywhere near as popular as that is. So it's really you're definitely taking your destiny by the short collar.
Yeah.
So, but if that's something you're comfortable with and the team's comfortable with, it's a great product.
yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, the event management space is very well known. It's been around for a long, long time. People know how to do it.
Yep.
And so that would be very comparable for savings. So the Nagio stuff that you talked
Yep.
about is right in line.
So if you find that doing the Nagios exercise is not boring, please do it.
Yeah,
If you think it is boring, don't do it.
yeah.
As simple. So the expectation I have is send me a screenshot of your Nagios server monitoring another box that you have. You decide which location, what to where, which
Yeah.
location you put the boxes in, and what do you monitor. Just don't destroy your existing setups. Do it in a VM or in the cloud. That's totally fine.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I'll take my bacon today. Power server.
So by now we should have collected more data of the application doing something that you see.
Yeah.
Our server is also going to show us some more information about monitoring as to what it is doing, and it has more statistics accumulated as you see that. So pretty trivial. And as you will notice, we did not do anything as such on this site to add a new service, add a new server, add a new application. All we did was on the server end. So the scenario was, do I have to punch a hole in my firewall? Not really. The agent that sits here will automatically go and report. So you deploy the agent for the app or the server on your boxes, two types of agents, and then you get to see what's going on. Now, while we still have some time, I would like to point out this plugin, which is a tremendously useful plugin, by the way. As you saw, it is like 4 million downloads,
Yeah.
5-star ratings, and that's something to deal with. So I am going to walk you through, and whenever you feel like you need to go deeper, tell me and I'll go, because I actually have used this plugin extensively. And so we set up only one thing right now. On the dashboard, we go to general settings and look at what all things it has. So the first one, it has this button to toggle all types of caching on and off. So you can toggle it on one button, toggle all caching on and off. The caching scenario comes from the fact that you have your WordPress application deployed. This WordPress might have some, some pictures or some videos or some music files and then some text. This is how typically, what users will see, like pictures, videos, movies, text is what typically shows up on a web page. These items are heavy, as in there is MB involved. Here it is mostly kilobytes. So it's very lightweight. So you segregate them and then put these things in a CDN, Content Delivery Network. So the WordPress machine that you have does not get hit for these items. The heavy items get offloaded to a CDN. How do you do that? You have your WordPress, you put a CDN front, and this CDN will deal with your pictures, music, video, and WordPress itself will deal with text and send that data. So these guys get offloaded to a CDN, and you can enable that very easily here. You go to CDN button and say enable. And then there's a long list of CDNs available. So you just select whatever you want. And so you want to put Akamai, fine. Amazon CloudFront,
And you have to have that preset up, right?
yeah, the moment you click here, Akamai, it will tell you how to go and set it up. The moment you go, say, select Amazon CloudFront, why is it not showing up? Yeah, they're disabling it. Yeah, Azure storage, fine. CDN, Max CDN, I think they're advertising it, so they're highlighting it. But Amazon CloudFront is disabled for some reason. I don't know why. Crazy.
Could be involved in
Potentially. Who knows? Or maybe they did not get paid or something. Because here, if you do not have a CDN provider, try Max CDN. Sign up here for 25% off. So they're advertising it. And the idea would be, let's look at the generic mirror. So we have a generic mirror. We save all settings and see what settings it comes up with. So here, it says CDN. And so we have to go and specify. It did not give us settings. Azure storage settings. You should expect to see settings for CDN. Okay, so here you specify the Azure CDN settings. And so you put in your account name and your password account key, create a container in Azure, and decide whether you want enable SSL or not. And then you put a account name.blob.windows.core.windows.net. So that URL comes in handy. And so this can become your account name.blob. And that's how your CDN will operate. So all the heavy items will come down from that Azure CDN location. These guys will come from Azure. Your server will get hit only with the lightweight portion, with username, password, content that comes from the database in the backend. Here, your DB that gives you that content will come. Only the lightweight elements, your server will get hit for only the lightweight items getting requested by the users. For a picture, somebody wants to watch on your site, it gets requested from the CDN, and the CDN will service it. First time you have this WordPress site that you have a picture file here. First time it will go through Azure CDN, and then the user will receive it. The picture will be received by the user, but first time it will be a miss, and your server will get hit. But the next time going forward, it will be delivered from Azure, and so your box will not be hitting very hard, which makes it easier to live with. You can get by with a cheaper computer, a $10 droplet as opposed to a $20, as an example, right? So that was CDN part. Let's look at some other things here. Performance, main menu. Where is the main menu part? Okay. Let's see some other things. Page cache. What it does, it automatically caches all the pages. So anytime WordPress generates a page, like for example this page, the front page that WordPress generates, or you say go to our FAQ page or about page, all these pages that you see are generated on the fly with content from the database and put HTML, CSS together and renders. If you enable caching, can you guess what WordPress will do if you enable the cache for pages? Huh? What do you think WordPress will do? If you have, so right now you saw this FAQ page. FAQ page has questions and answers and some CSS and some HTML, and it has to generally automatically assemble all these in FAQ and render it. But if you have page caching enabled, what will happen? Right. So it will construct the entire page one time and create HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as a minified. You heard this word minification, have you? Or heard the word uglification, have you? There is an uglifier that uglifies and makes it look really bad, so you cannot humanly see it, but it is syntactically correct JavaScript, CSS, HTML. And that uglifier is actually compressing it and rendering it to the browsers for them to be able to quickly show you the FAQ page, and it doesn't hit the database at all.
Did you say it does that? That's an on or an off?
So minification on, and there is a minification element here also, somewhere here. Jump to the main menu. So there's a minify settings somewhere here. In the plugin, we'll have a minification setting. Where is that? General setting. And this page caching will automatically, if you enable page caching, it will have these options of how do you cache the pages. And minification options come in. So here you automatically minify and put the minified HTML, minified CSS, minified
You certainly don't want to do that for any dynamic content.
You can. The beauty is you can, because it will work with the dynamic content, and anytime the content changes, it will generate a new one and put
Yeah,
it.
but I mean, it's really dynamic.
If it's really dynamic,
Caching
it,
every single page.
in that case, you don't. But if you have like once in a while changing content, it will automatically update the minified files and cache them again and listen for more updates coming from the backend.
Yeah, but if you're asking like
No, bank transactions.
showing a page as the date and time. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
exactly. So you don't do that. No, that makes sense.
I looked up that, the reason they do, the Amazon Cloud, they recommend the generic mirror, and then they show you how to do that. Because something about CloudFront will purge your CDN cache automatically from the WordPress dashboard, but Amazon CloudFront charges for cache
Purges.
also. So incur accidental unnecessary purges charged your bill. This is the billing aspect is another reason we did not bother to try harder to get the Amazon CloudFront option working. So to show you how to do it.
In the generic mirror method?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in the last time I set up, it was there as an option available, but they apparently disabled it for the reason you described, which is probably a valid reason. So, yeah, the other solutions work just fine. You know, I have used another service called Fastly, which is also a very good CDN. And Fastly, what am I missing? Is Fastly the right name? Yes, this is the service. So this is a CDN that I have used. It works out beautifully. And if you apply a CDN on a heavy site, it makes your server light. I mean, you can get by with a cheaper server, or pay less for a good enough performance, and that is what these plugins help you to do. For example, in CDN, or in case of reverse proxy setups with Varnish Cache, monitoring your performance, and enable Google PageSpeed dashboard widget. So this Google PageSpeed is a service. If you haven't used it, you should see that, Google PageSpeed. So in this PageSpeed Insights for developers, you can paste any URL, http:// and put in a URL, and it'll ask it to analyze, and it will give you an analysis report as to how that performance is, and it is telling me something to be fixed. It says that from a mobile perspective, this site, consider fixing some of the things, like I should leverage browser-based caching, minify HTML, minify CSS. I apparently am not doing it. But then user experience, 100%, no issues. Good. And that was a rank score of 63 out of 100 for speed on mobile. On desktop, 81 out of 100, pretty good rank. Still, there are issues to be fixed, like browser caching and server response times. So other details seem to be okay. So caching I'm apparently not doing. Otherwise, it will further improve the responsiveness of that site that I'm building. So that was a quick way of measuring performance of any site. Google will give you that insights as a service available. So that was an example. You can further minify and debug what you're doing if you're having issues. So there are debug settings here in this. You can debug certain aspects of it if you want. You can the plugin itself is so complex, you can export and import settings of the plugin itself. because the plugin itself is very complex to set up. We haven't actually touched all the aspects. So there are page caches, minification. There is database cache also there. You can enable database caching, so you don't have to hit the database all the time. You can have an external opcode dedicated virtual server if you have. So have a opcode server if you're using, apply that. And I don't know why that is also disabled. It's all grayed out, not black. So I cannot select that. For some reason, only disk choice available. There's object caching available. And again, only disk choice. I have to go and read these changes they have made. Browser caching. So the Google PageSpeed was asking me to enable browser caching. You can enable this or disable it, just like that. So it makes it simple through a plugin. CDN, same way. Reverse proxy, enable Varnish cache and put Varnish cache servers. So Varnish is another open source project that is used for caching as a reverse proxy. So you can enable Varnish servers and put the entries here and enable that. Monitoring, you can enable through New Relic that we just did. Licensing, you can buy and upgrade to the plugin, which will give you even more options for a little bit more money. So they provide you services for upgrading New Relic, upgrading this plugin itself, which was what are we using? W3 Total Cache Pro version. So there is a better version of plugin that they charge money for. So you can go that route. And debug modes and export import configuration. So all the entire left section that you see right now here is full of just that one plugin itself, focused on performance improvement for your application itself.
So when you use a CDN, what's the revenue model and what's the cost model? So if I have it all my files, my pictures, my large pictures cached in CDN.
Yeah. So let's see the pricing.
Am I saving over
These guys
on my box?
These guys are saying that's the pricing. If you're downloading, if your users are downloading 100 GB bandwidth per month, the pricing will be $9 per month. That's what you're looking to pay. Now compare this with anybody else. Let's say Fastly. So Fastly.com. Let's see the pricing that they have.
Amazing.
Pricing, and here the pricing is you're downloading say first 10 terabytes. If your users are in North America, you pay 12 cents. Europe 12 cents, Australia, New Zealand 19 cents, Asia Pac 19 cents. I think it's per gigabyte. I think it's per gigabyte rates. So for the first 10 terabyte per gigabyte downloads every month, that's the price you pay. Pricing.
Per month.
Yeah, per month pricing. And so if you compare this, let's say 12 cents for Europe, compare that for the same amount with Max CDN, 100 GB. So it becomes, calculate, what was that rate that we had? I forgot the rate, 12 cents, right? So it is 12 cents times 100 is $12 compared to $9 Max CDN, right? Fastly, $12, Max CDN, $9. Here's the number, left side. That's what you compare. So you saw this, and overages are 8 cents per GB if you go beyond. And on the other side that we had Fastly.com, they charge you 12 cents. Let's look at Amazon, what they do. Amazon CDN pricing. Let's figure out what that pricing is. Amazon CloudFront pricing, it's typically complex to understand, but hope not. So they charge you 8.5 cents in Europe and US. And in Hong Kong, 14 cents, South America, 25 cents, India, 17 cents. India especially called out. So you get 17 cents India, 8 cents in US.
That's terabytes, and so is Fastly with terabyte. Max CDN or gigabyte?
No, this is per GB. At the very top.
Oh, okay, so yeah, but if
Yeah,
you get
first.
10 terabyte, if you get the 10 terabyte level, that's what you pay.
Yes, first 10. It's first 10, right? So here you will pay for Amazon, you will pay $8.50 compared to.
$9 for 100 gig, even if you don't use it.
And so,
So if you only use
correct,
10
correct,
gig,
correct.
then that's not a very good value.
If you use only 10 gig of downloads, if your users are only consuming 10 gigs, this is very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still $9.
right? It's still $9 as opposed to CloudFront, which does not have a minimum monthly.
Right.
And so is Fastly has a minimum monthly, but I think they have a $50 minimum monthly somewhere. I read it a while ago. They have a $50 minimum bill, these guys, Fastly.com. And these guys do not have a minimum bill. Amazon is charging you this. There is no minimum. And so you have seen my account and my page. I'll probably pay $3 something for CDN and some other services. Now my usual monthly bill is $3-4.
Yes, you can do not let that get out of control. Is there a problem?
There is throttling. There is billing alert. You can actually have them stop charging your credit card after a certain limit. All these choices available. Yes, but smaller companies like MaxCDN or Fastly.com will have you give a minimum monthly guarantee. I will spend at least $9 every month. Okay, come on. If you don't give them a minimum guarantee of price, a minimum bill guarantee, then they will not want you.
Right.
Large companies can afford to do that.
Yeah, so if you just got a smaller website,
Amazon.
this makes more sense.
Amazon makes sense.
As a way to offset.
And Amazon actually makes sense even beyond. Even if you have a big site, it still makes sense
Yeah.
because it's $8.50 per month.
But I was just
As
trying to
opposed to-
make, like, why would I use a CDN if I don't have that much traffic?
So you use CDN even if you do not have traffic to make your site rank higher in Google. As simple as that. If your site is high performing, higher rank. If your site is using SSL certificate, higher rank. If your site is cross-linked with other sites of importance, higher rank.
Right.
If they link you, even higher rank. Right? Like the reason Cloud Genius is high on the rank is because this institution links back to me. Because Northern Illinois University links back to me. Not because I link to them, but they link to me. They have a page dedicated for me. Beautiful. That kills. You link to them, yeah, anybody can.
Right.
But they linking back to you ranks higher up.
Yeah.
If you open up a Google page, get a review on it, higher rank. Use Google tools, higher rank. Use Bing Webmaster Tools, higher rank on Bing. Use Yandex.ru, Russian website. Yandex is the search engine in Russia, higher rank. I am ranked higher in Yandex also. Why? Because I'm using their tools and making sure that this site ranks high in every single country, in every browser, in every search engine, including getting a top 10 ranking in South Korea. Huh? It just happened. I saw hits coming from South Korea. I said, who's that? And apparently I asked a Korean friend to read that. And it says top 10 ranking. I said, bingo. That's right. That's it.
Wait a second.
And I have never actually did anything with South Korea, but I'm apparently a top ranking program in South Korea. I don't know how. But this is what I'm just giving you what I did is to get links from others to us.
All an authoritative link.
Authoritative link. Yes. So authority is what is important. So the Google searches rank order you higher for a high speed performance, how many people are visiting you, how many people jump from other sites to you, how nicely you write, how many spelling mistakes you have, how contextually accurate information you write. Don't write about Rolex watches on Cloud Genius website. Doesn't make sense, right? But there are people who write about Viagra and Rolex, and you've seen these stupid spam, and they come on my site all the time, and I have automatically delete them, which is another method that you can apply another plugin to cut down on trash that comes. People will hit your machines in the cloud with bots in China that are dedicated to scanning your ports and hitting your machines all the time. So you avoid that by either sitting inside a firewall like large companies do, or even if you are on the public network, you put rules for IP tables. You remember them?
Yeah.
Have you played with IP table rules? We have played with what I call security groups, right? What AWS called security groups. And so you can play, if you don't have security groups, like in certain providers don't provide you that, you can apply the same concepts using these things. You have seen that, right? Did I discuss these things with you?
I think we did that, yeah.
And did you do any exercises, or let me,
I think that was
not
in the
exercise,
DevOps class.
No, we didn't have any IP tables exercise.
No, we
you
did.
did not, right?
We did security groups.
I know you did, but if you are interested, I can show you examples or have you play with it yourself. I'll give you an example for IP tables rules, just to give you a flavor of it, and then I know you will probably want to do it, so I'll email you. I know him by now enough, so that's awesome, by the way, what you do.
Yeah, I started playing around with IP tables for the last one.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example, IP tables, to show you the concept, and that comes in handy with dealing with public cloud. When you have stuff out there in the wild, people hit you. And so this is an example IP table rule set. I forgot whether I covered it with you or not.
Yeah.
Did I discuss this? Like open everything and then add item by item.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, if you want this, I can pass it to you. You can experiment with it. Yep. Totally. I'll pass it on. So then there's nothing secret here. Yeah, so I was just looking at, there are some passwords.
Yeah.
Sometimes I leave them by mistake. I'll clean up and send it to you. Yeah, sweet. Let's see.
It's related to your fact that somebody was your security problem. Brought this up.
Sharp brain. That's an indicative of a sharp brain. Thank you. You caught it. Yes. Yes.
That's why I got. Okay.
Yes. So that's what happened apparently. Some Chinese bots got hold of my machines and started attacking another droplet the other day. You saw that thing happen. So pick a place where you want to meet next time. Or we can always meet here. But
So where's you live south? Or?
I live Sammamish, but it's irrelevant. I can go anywhere you like. Whatever you prefer in your area where you want to go eat, meet, and if you want to talk, you're welcome. You want to eat, fine.
Well, where do you want to go?
Okay, so you live south. You live.
I bet I'm
It
fine.
doesn't make any difference.
Doesn't make any difference.
So let's just find a good place to go.
So last time we went here, Thai Kitchen, Bellevue.
So.
The food,
Thai
people liked it. Thai Kitchen, Bellevue, that was the place that we went.
So
Here.
Thai Kitchen, where's it at?
I'll show you the map. Thai Kitchen, Bellevue, located at this location. Come on. Yeah, that's the location. So we'll zoom it.
Oh, that's easy. Well,
So it's
Yeah.
like in the middle of Bellevue. If you know this Lake Sammamish.
Bellevue Way. It's really good.
So pick your location. Give me a name.
It's also,
Northeast 20th, yeah, that. Well,
Or another very good one, if you're really into it, really awesome food is called Din Tai Fung. Wow, food. I mean, this is like beyond awesome. I'm not kidding. If you haven't been here, please do. There are only 2 Din Tai Fungs in our country. 2 locations, but the Los Angeles and Seattle. And this is the food. This is
you said that's in Bellevue or?
it's in Bellevue.
Oh, it's the mall.
Yeah, Bellevue Square Mall. And this is awesome food. I mean, it's so delicious. I cannot stop talking about it.
I thought I saw it in UW.
Have you been? Yeah, same thing. They have a UW also.
Oh, there is one.
Yeah, there's a UW location, there is a Bellevue location, and there are Los Angeles locations, and then there is Taiwan location.
Bellevue. Let's do that.
Bellevue, Din Tai Fung?
Yeah.
How is it
Sweet.
to get in?
There is no reservation. You have to wait in line. And if you're saying that, 6 of us are coming, then all 6 of us should be there on the spot at the door. Otherwise, they will not let you in.
Well, we will.
They're very diligent. I mean, they're like, they have Taiwanese discipline about
It
it.
should be it's Wednesday too. So.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, and it's never, on a Friday, it's probably pretty bad.
So,
Yeah,
so
we're
if
talking
we're
about
there,
5 o'clock or what?
if we're there at 4 o'clock, that's a little bit earlier before the.
Totally welcome.
rush.
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
Or we can go to Daniel's Broiler and have the happy hour.
Well, Daniel's Broiler is pretty darn good too. That's a little pricey.
But that's just right across the way there.
Yeah, I think this beats the food quality.
I like that.
If you
So-
enjoy Taiwanese food, this is authentic Taiwanese. They make it by hand with let's see some pictures.
As long as they don't have that stinky tofu.
Aha. So the
The one stinky tofu.
Really stinky.
so Din Tai Fung, people make it like these. This is a picture from inside. You can see it from outside. People are making it. I mean, they actually do it like by hand. And
Well, you've got a good recommendation, so I'm willing to go there.
yes, totally do that. And the food looks like this, but it is delicious. I mean, beautiful food. The inside you have all types of meats, pork, chicken,
Right.
So
beef.
what time do you want to meet there?
You decide the time,
Okay,
5 o'clock,
Well,
4 o'clock.
We should get there, I think at normal time, just to make sure.
Yeah, it's like 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?
4 o'clock.
Is that not too early? Is that too early?
No,
No,
because
because
I got everything, my schedule's all gauged to go into school here.
Yeah.
So 4 o'clock, we'll probably get in early, no problem. 'cause we're
Right, go to
listening
Patty
to-
Cohn's for happy hour.
Where?
Patty Cohn's, the Irish bar.
Oh, yeah, that's a good place.
Where now?
Irish bar.
So you like this Chinese concept of food, right? Or if you're not into
I
that,
like food in general, so.
you do?
I'm not into-
I'm shocked.
I'm not super into the doughy stuff.
That looks good, but it says 2 quirky birds. Okay, what kind of birds?
There's lots of choices. If you don't like the dumplings.
Yeah.
They're good.
They have vegetables, right?
I just
Yes, they
tried
do.
everything.
Yeah, they are vegetarians. So you look at the menu. It should be okay. You should be happy. I want you to be
Alright,
happy.
this is great, let's have an adventure.
So that's where we're going, 4 o'clock,
4 o'clock.
Yep.
4 o'clock.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
4 o'clock. Well, let me send you a calendar so I don't forget and you don't forget.
Yes, send it
Okay.
to us, so
Well,
we all. end
you know,
up
in
the
a
same-
theater.
This location.
Yeah,
is
the door's
amazing.
locked.
There we go.
Bill,
Din's or Din.
Dinner at Din Tai Fung.
You're Din, son. You're Din, son.
okay, so we're getting an email notification on. this.
Yeah, I'm sending this dinner at Din Tai Fung Bellevue at 4 p.m. and the time ends not at 5. And then we are inviting all of you. So I'm sending you invitation. How do I send the invitation? Invitees.
Cool,
Silver lining
yeah.
at cloudgenie.us.
And Dennis, you were saying you wanted to buy?
So you should have an invitation.
I tried. Yeah, okay.
You should now have a calendar coming up. So calendar should have it for Wednesday. Let's check. So calendar and dinner. There we go.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is in the Lincoln Square Mall, not Bellevue Square,
Yes.
where
Oh, Lincoln.
Oh, the Lincoln
Lincoln
Center?
no, not Lincoln. No, not.
You got a movie afterwards.
That's right. The movie bowling, there's movie faculty, there's Lucky Strikes.
So what are we talking about now?
Basically bacon and full night.
This
You wanna
is-
put it on
this is
the
where
floor in the
the
morning?
friends-
What's up, honey? Did I just go straight to work again? Oh, yeah. Nobody even noticed. Oh.
Didn't talk phone. Okay,
Hey, you could save that person behind you some stress if you taught them how to do what you do.
Even this.
And do not take the markers from the classroom. All capital letters, you know, it's like, somebody's about ready to.
I don't even know
have a
them,
heart
right?
attack.
So honestly, I have like absolutely no interaction with any teaching faculty here.
Yeah.
I don't know them. So I have no idea who's that
I'm
person.
sure.
You ever been to the teacher's lounge?
No.
All right, gentlemen. See you on Wednesday.
All right, Wednesday.
Thanks, thank you.